years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We live. What's going on, man? Man, we got a lot to talk about, man. Here we go.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
You already know time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show with my guy Severe, the Severe Raider, and obviously myself, PharoahNFL. Man, we got a great show lined up for you, man, today, man. Man, the Raiders are gonna Raider. I think that's gonna be the quote of the day. The Raiders are going to Raider, and I say that because AP. If you guys haven't heard, you guys are under a rock. You know, just getting home and you haven't seen what was going on today in the news, sports, all that. Antonio Pierce has been fired. He's been relieved as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Man, I'm not surprised that he got fired, but it's just, man, the Raiders they're always gonna do it in their own way. They're gonna have this man come out. We'll get into the whole conversation in just a little bit. We see everybody pulling up. My guy, Raider Ray in the building. My guy, man. Hey, man. We got to have you come through real quick, man, to talk about the state of the Raiders, man. But, my guy, appreciate you coming through and supporting. Mark and I want to give you a message real quick. He says, clock in. All are welcome to the show. Yeah, facts, 100%. I'll add two. Just keep it respectful. That's all we ask for. But I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Mark says, what a day. I feel sorry for AP. Feel like they set him up for the failure. Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. But we called that out like a while back. I think at this point, like, the Raiders just don't care. They just don't care. They're just going to continue to do what they do. And guess who's responsible for that? We'll get into that in a little bit. Mario Jr. says, love AP, but he wasn't the guy. Sadly, we all liked his image and wanted him to be great, but he is not cut out. He is not cut out to be a head coach of a team. Even the starter jacket couldn't even save him. Damn. He just came for him right there, man. Golly, man, the man just got fired, but he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna, when it rains, it pours. Even the starter jacket couldn't save him, man. That's cold-blooded, Mario. But
That's a cold starter jacket, though.
Exactly. Yeah. No, facts. But I will say this though. People can agree if AP, didn't share part on the Raiders having a long year this year. We can talk about all his weaknesses and all that, right? But you can't tell me that he had everything at his disposal to win. You can't tell me a head coach is supposed to have 1 year. You just, you got to get it done in 1 year. If you don't get it done, you're fired. That's just not how successful teams are built. Not at all. Like if that were the case, then Bill Belichick would have been fired his first year as a Patriots head coach. And countless other head coaches who didn't have the greatest first year, but obviously they were able to build something. A great example is a guy out there in Detroit.
Yeah.
The dude right now, the Detroit Lions right now are everybody's favorite Super Bowl pick. Let's just keep it that.
Yeah.
Keep it at that. Like, man, like you just watch that team. You see the chemistry. They just have a look of a team that is destined to win that Super Bowl. But we'll see what happens. But Austin, the Wanderer, says Joy Taylor for head coach. This way, training will be a breeze. Whoo! Damn, man. Oh, man. Joy Taylor, man. She is in the news for the wrong reasons. If you haven't heard, that's a little lawsuit going on, but we ain't going to get into that. That's a whole different conversation. But it's for sure flag on a play worthy, though. That is definitely flag on a play worthy, but, that's a whole different conversation. Happy Fish says, yo, shout me out, please. Hey, Happy Fish, man. Appreciate you coming through. There you go. There goes a shout out, man. Appreciate you coming through. The King of Mods is in the building, man. Salute, Pharaoh. Salute, Severe, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Salute.
Daniel Kim, man, as always. Oh, man, I can't even forget my guy, man. Was pulling up over here. Raiders Smoke. Appreciate the super chats. Is what it do. 50-50, like, subscribe. Yee! Hey, man, my guy, man. My Bay Area brethren, man. What's going on, man? I gotta give you the area salute. Man, appreciate you coming through, man. Hey, let us know, man. Hey, Smoke, man, we're gonna have a good conversation today, man. Like,
yeah.
And I hopefully, man, I wish I could put this. I wish I'd put it out the poll before the show, but I guess we can talk about it. Do y'all agree with AP getting fired? Let's start there. I think if I can put that in there, but Severe, I'll try to put it in. I'll put it in the chat. And then you could just chime in on the latest events with the Raiders. Obviously, they firing head coach Antonio Pierce. The Raiders also lost the game, 34. No one really cares, but they lost the game. But which now they officially, I think they have the number 6 spot. Let's take a look at the current draft spot, because that's what people really care about at this point. Man, the Raiders' season was done for. They weren't going to the playoffs. If you could take a look at it real quick, you can see right there, number 6. Let me move this so y'all can see it right there. Boom. Raiders are picking number 6. Tennessee randomly just gets the number 1 pick. It went from the Raiders. Who else who had the number 1 pick at some point in the season? I mean, a few teams did.
New England had it at one point.
New England. Obviously the Giants. We can keep going, but at the end of the day, this is the final draft spot right here, number 6, which I'm a little bit more, all right, I feel like we can get a really good player. Even though we got a good player at 13, I think with this, a couple of quarterbacks getting taken early, if not Shador maybe dropping to number 6, that's a possible thing. Maybe we trade up one spot or a couple spots. That's a possibility. Yeah. Hopefully, if we do trade up, we're not giving up like a whole bag of picks. But that being said, Severe, I'm gonna let you take over. What were your thoughts, man, on the latest news on the Raiders firing head coach Antonio Pierce?
I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't think anybody is surprised. We had a rough season. At one point we had a 10-game losing streak. There was some strife in the locker room, not only with the Devontae Adams stuff, but the other stuff in terms of complaining about the lack of accountability, time management issues in terms of practices and film sessions. Then there was the on the field stuff with the clock management. Not great uses of timeouts, not great uses of challenges. So, that it was problems on the field and off the field. So I wasn't surprised in terms of that. But I think first of all, I think we shouldn't have did it, right? Because we can't keep cycling through these coaches. This is our third coach in as many seasons. I want to say since 2002, we fired 3 coaches already. Or it'd be three different head coaches. Gruden resigned. We fired Josh McDaniels, and now we fired Antonio Pierce. Horrible look. And then the fact that the most disgusting part of it all, the worst part of it all, is that we let this man go out in front of the media and talk and speak as if he was the head coach and was going to continue to be the head coach, was going to return and be the head coach next year. Laid out some of the plans he wanted to do, some of the vision, some of his goals. Like talked about having his son, shift from working with the offensive linemen to working with the defense. Like we let him go out there and do that. Talk to the media, address the media, knowing that his job wasn't secure. Why do you allow him to do that? That makes no sense. That is organizational malpractice for you to put him out there. Let him essentially at that point he's the mouthpiece for the organization,
right?
Only to be relieved of his duties a day later, like that's terrible. That's the height of classlessness, the height of dysfunction, and it's just straight cowardice. If he's not in your plans, tell him, hey, we haven't made a decision yet. Mm-hmm. We need you to sit down. If we end up moving forward with you as the head coach, then you can have this presser on Tuesday or on Wednesday or later on in the week, right? It's the end of the season presser anyway. It's not that important. But instead, you let him go out there and essentially embarrass himself. Like how must that feel to know that you went out there and spoke like you were going to continue in this job and speak as if people in the building had full faith in you, and that it's just outside noise saying you weren't going to return. Imagine his DMs right now from all the people like, yo, man, did you know this was going to happen to you? Did you know that they were going to fire you a day later when you were speaking in the presser? Because he had full confidence. It seemed like he was going to be coming back, and he was acting as if he would. So it's just people see that just encapsulates the Raiders perfectly right there. People see that and they're instantly going to be turned off. Because how you handle people on the way out, that just shows you the kind of organization you are, right? Mm-hmm. We look at these companies that just have mass layoffs and just get rid of everybody, no warning at all. Like people look at those people like with extreme disgust. Right. Like CEOs, people hate corporations. They hate big business. They hate it because of how they treat people. And we're just going on along in that same mode, and that matters. If people don't think it matters, it definitely matters. Because, like I said, the people you step on and you crap on the way up, those gonna be the same people you see on your way down. And one day, these relationships, that's gonna matter. And the way you handled it was not the right way.
Man, I agree, man. I think the Raiders are gonna Raider. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they've been bad for so long. It's because how they're run. I think the league is watching. The players are watching. You hear Max Crosby. He's kind of, as passionate as he is as a player, as passionate as he is as a Raider, you could tell he's kind of tired of it. The revolving door at head coach. Like, I don't know what the Raiders. I don't know what the big plan is. Maybe there's some big plan. Maybe there's something that they got going on. But if it means, bringing in Pete Carroll, like, what kind of plan is that? You know what I mean? And the reason why I'm bringing up Pete Carroll is because, Vinny, Benny Bonsignor, one of the beat writers, suggested to keep an eye on Pete Carroll as a candidate to watch. And, Hosina Henderson, who's another, NFL insider, she's saying that, when AP got fired, the reason why it was taking so long is because they were looking into two candidates that haven't been really talked about with the Raiders. And they were, I guess, I think it's a done deal right now. Whoever they got going on right now, whoever they've circled as at head coach, I think it's pretty much official. They're going to go through that whole process of, interviewing candidates, acting like they're taking them serious, but in reality, they already have their candidate that their head coach that they want. And it might be Pete Carroll. And in my opinion, I think that's the wrong move. Not because Pete Carroll is not a good head coach. It's because it's so short-sighted. Why are we playing checkers and not chess? The guy's, exactly. I mean, is he in his 70s, 80s? Like, he could easily be like,
73 years old, I believe. 73 years old.
73 years old. 73 years old. Skip Bayless is what, in his 70s, right? And they removed him off TV.
Exactly.
Hey, my OGs out there, respect to y'all, man. Y'all, hey, no disrespect to anybody who's in their 70s, but I'm just saying, like, in a game like football where, if you're an owner, if you're a GM, if you're a front office guy, if you're one of the guys that's helping running this franchise, I would think that you would have a long-term plan. Even a guy like Bill Belichick, for example, a guy like Bill Belichick that's won how many Super Bowls? Probably the most of all time, right? In the NFL, like what, 6, 7 Super Bowls?
Yeah, head coach, 6.
And he couldn't get a job last offseason because I'm sure it has something to do with, a little bit of it has to do with maybe his age, because they don't know how long he's going to be a head coach for that team. And a lot of the teams in the NFL, they know it takes time to build a team. So if a guy's not going to be there more than 1 or 2 years, then, the options could be limited for a guy that's in their 70s, right? And I don't think the Raiders are in a situation to be picking a guy in their 70s to be the head coach, like a Pete Carroll. I think we need to go somewhere younger. You know what I mean? That's why a guy like AP, you got to be patient with. Okay, you don't agree with AP. AP is not the guy. Okay, that's a whole different conversation. But hey, we can all agree that you shouldn't be firing a head coach in 1 year unless something crazy happens. And I don't think anything crazy happened this year. I think the Raiders are just a bad football team. There is no head coach in the NFL that would have won games with the Raiders this year. Like, I don't, where are we getting this idea that we would have won NFL? Like, I just don't get it. Like, why do people think that we would have won with a different head coach? Oh, we need to fire AP. Like, no, we need a quarterback. We need to get healthy on defense. We need more depth. We lost our number one receiver in Devontae Adams. We probably need to get another receiver back over there. We need some speed. You know what I mean? Like, and now we got a whole bunch of free agents that we got to re-sign and convince to come back because, that's where we're at right now. The Raiders have to convince those free agents to come back because what is the long-term plan? Hopefully the Raiders got something up their sleeve, but right now, I don't know. I can't see it, man. I don't know what they're doing. I just, to me, I'm at a point where, I've said this before, but I'm like, you know what? Let me give him a chance. Let me give Mark Davis a chance. But Mark, man, he got to go.
Yeah.
He has to go. Somehow, some way, please. I just want to see the Raiders win one Super Bowl, just one. Just give me one Super Bowl. And I know people are like, well, Mark owns a team. He's not going to sell a team. And who are you to say? Da, 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 da. But, like, look, what's the definition of insanity? Is, you know what I mean? We're doing the same thing over and over again with the same owner who continues to have his hand in every little move. He tries to say, well, I let the guys that know football make the decisions. But you're firing and hiring every chance you get. You're too emotional. You're way you think. You change like the wind. Like you're over here screaming at fans saying to use their head. 2 weeks later, you fire the head coach that the fans said to fire. Like, stand on something, man. Like you not, and that's a whole McDaniel situation. That's a whole completely different situation. Fast forward now, you had all this time to figure out who you want at head coach, where you want the Raiders to go, who the GM should be. You had all this time. And you had this man, AP, go into a press conference, you know, try to be as confident as he can, when in reality, like, we can all understand why someone wouldn't be confident. But this is the same guy that had Del Rio fire himself to announce his own firing to the media. Yeah. Just because he was so excited to hire, you know, John Gruden. And if he hires John Gruden, I'm putting my resignation as a Raider fan. Come on, bro. What are we doing? What is Mark Davis doing, man? And you know what? I don't even like the Tom Brady situation right now. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't like it. I don't like it. If you're all in, you're all in. Why are you over here commentating football games? I know he's getting his money, but from a Raiders perspective, I'm a Raider fan, so I'm going to be biased. I'm going to be like, hey, I want the Raiders to win. I want to see winning football, a winning organization, right? If you're all in, why are you not all in? Why are you're one of the owners of the team that is, and I'm sure Mark Davis is leaning on to help make decisions. Why are you depending on a guy that's not even like fully there? Right now, he's preparing for NFL games.
Yep.
I just like I don't know. The Raiders are a mess. They're a mess, man. And I like, look, I could be ranting. I could be like, oh, you know, you need to calm down. But at the end of the day, this is the same old Raiders. Same old Raiders. Yeah. That's why I said I started the show by saying the Raiders are going to Raider. The Raiders are going to Raider, and it is what it is, man. But hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification. But we going live on both our channels, man. You got the Severe Raider in the building. Obviously, myself, PharoahNFL. Appreciate everybody coming through. Man, we got everybody pulling up, man. The chat is going crazy. We gonna get to the comments real quick. Let's see what people are saying, man. I'm gonna see. Man, salute to everybody pulling up, man. I see y'all, man. The night crew in the building, man. Look, M85, that sucks, but I still wanted him gone. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I understand that. To me, I knew that it was gonna happen. But like, man, like this again. Like I thought, like, you know, like, oh, Mark is. It's just like the way he's doing it is like, man, it just gives the energy of like stuff hasn't changed. You know what I mean? Like we got a new stadium, new city. You know what I mean? But it's just this. It just, man, like I don't know, man. Mark, he got to go, man. He has to go. In my opinion, for the Raiders to have long-term success, there might be it just might not. It might come down to like the Raiders need new ownership. And let me know in the chat. I actually put a poll out. Hopefully, let me see. Let me take a look at what people are. So I put out a poll. I said, do you agree with the Raiders firing AP? 64% say yes. 36% say no. Okay. All right. I get it. All right. You know, you wanted something different. See, look, at my thing is, look, why hire a guy that you're going to fire in 1 year?
Exactly.
Why hire a guy if you're going to fire him in 1 year? Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all. But that's what happens when you put people in place that don't know what the hell they're doing, right? So you got Mark Davis, who doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and on the football side of things, right? And I've defended Mark Davis a long time because Mark Davis genuinely tries. People are, oh, Mark Davis is going to make money regardless. Mark Davis paid a huge settlement to John Gruden for him to resign. He paid a huge amount of money to Josh McDaniels to fire him. He paid a bunch of money to Dave Ziegler to fire him, and then he hired AP, and he's going to have to pay AP for the second year as well. So it's not like he's spending money. He's spending money. If he wanted to just make money, he could just keep AP, who's going to, I'm sure, was probably on one of the cheapest contracts in the NFL as a head coach. If that was his only issue, was making money, he just keep AP, pay AP pennies to lose, and still rack in the dough, because visiting teams are going to still, their fans are going to still come to Vegas to watch their team whip our ass. So if it was about money, he would have just kept AP. So it's not about money. He wants to win. He just doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Then he hires Tom Telesco, right? Who has a solid track record as GM, right? Has some pretty good drafts. But one thing his teams always had in common is they basically always lacked depth. They were always basically injury prone, and they always had bad head coaches. So then you put this guy in as GM. I'm sure you let him have influence over you firing your head coach. To do what? To let him hire the next head coach with his track record as head coach? With his track record of hiring head coaches, they've all been bad. He just recently hired the worst head coach in the NFL, and Brandon Staley, who was widely ridiculed as the worst coach. And a lot of people, it wasn't Tom Telesco, it was the Spanos family. Okay, fine then. So let's say it was the Spanos family who had their hand in hiring all these head coaches. Then you hired a GM who has no idea how to hire a head coach, because he wasn't involved in hiring any of the previous head coaches. So you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. So I don't want to hear any of these excuses for Tom Telesco. It's either he sucked at hiring head coaches or he's never done it before. So get somebody in there that knows what the hell they're doing. Okay. Third of all, then you bring in Tom Brady. Bring in Tom Brady, okay? Bring in the guy, Tom Brady. He's a respected guy. He's a winner. He went to the New England Patriots. He won. Yeah, as a player. He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and he won. Yeah, as a player. What has he done in his own life in terms of building businesses? I'll tell you what he's done. He invested a whole bunch of money into crypto with Sam Bankman-Fried and got hustled, got his money taken. The dude defrauded him and he couldn't see it coming. Why? Because obviously he's not that great judge of a character himself, right? To get hustled and swindled out of your money and lose $30 million on your own investment. So is this the guy we're going to trust hiring our next head coach? Is this the guy? Because he's such a great judge of character, right? He knows what he's doing, right? No, he doesn't. None of these people know how to hire head coaches. But yet all of them are going to have a hand in hiring the next head coach. So you know what that means? That means we are screwed. These people let this man go out and have a presser at the end of the year. For what reason? There was no reason for him to talk. Why talk about the recap of the season if you're not going to be here? What happened in the past doesn't matter if you're not going to be here going forward. And if you're not going to be here going forward, then you can't talk about the future either. So it was malpractice and disgusting for them to let him go out there. But yet they did it. That shows you the kind of people they are. And people remember this. People remember this. Remember how we did Mike Shanahan? Remember how we did Mike Shanahan. And because of how we did Mike Shanahan, we would never be able to hire Kyle Shanahan as a coach. Ever. And guess what? People from the Kyle Shanahan tree, they're going to be very hesitant to take a job here. Why? Because of how we did Mike Shanahan, because of the influence that Kyle Shanahan will have on them. And guess what? Everybody wants Ben Johnson, right? Everybody wants Ben Johnson. But guess where Ben Johnson met Dan Campbell? They met in Miami. Guess who was the head coach in Miami when they were there? Joe Philbin. Guess who was just on the staff that got unceremoniously fired in the most disrespectful way possible? Joe Philbin. You think he's going to allow or advocate for one of his disciples to have come coach this team? Not at all. This is this is a freaking dumpster fire. A dumpster fire that nobody wants to go to. Nobody wants to go to. We're going to get somebody sloppy seconds because all the best head coaches are going to go somewhere else. Then a lot of other head coaches are going to look at our track record the past few years, look at how we handled head coaches and say, I don't want to go there. The agents to a lot of these high profile head coaches are going to say, know what? Why go there where you have a chance to get fired after the first year? And they're going to tell their candidates, know what? Wait for the next cycle. Let the Raiders hire somebody else. Wait for the next cycle. And we're going to be stuck holding the bag.
Hey, man, facts, man. Hey, Raider Ray in the building, man, says Mark hired a placeholder head coach until ownership deal went through. AP knew what it was when he signed a 2-year deal as head coach. Head coaches don't sign 2-year deals. He had 1 year to show something. Just facts. Man, I mean, look, it's. I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, like, what is he selling to the fan base? What is he selling to the players? What is that? How you run your franchise? Is that how winners are made? Winners are made out of what? Right? Consistency, right? So, I just don't get that thought process of hiring a placeholder coach. Like, why don't you hire a coach that you believe in? You give him more than 2 to 3 years. Even this rant that I should play right now with Greenberg, pretty much. But at this point, I'm just tired of even listening at this point. But he mentions that, one of the things that you blame some people will blame the head coach after 3 years, but AP didn't even get 3 years. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, AP didn't even get 3 years. You can't tell me that is sound thinking to hire someone for 1 year. So what are you going to do about the players on the team? What are we doing? What's the plan? Ray, let me know. What is the plan? Are we blowing it up? Why don't we? Okay, then blow it up then. Just blow are we rebuilding? Like, is this a full out rebuild? Like, what are we doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not like we're, Mark, he makes it seem like he's trying to reload every season. He's trying to win every season, but he's doing things that doesn't suggest like he's interested. I just want to know what the long-term plan is. That's all I'm saying, Ray. Like, I get what you're saying, but it doesn't even make any sense to do it that way. Go ahead.
If that was Mark Davis's plan, to hire a guy for 1 year until ownership goes through, then he is stupider than his haircut looks. That is the stupidest. I pray. And know what? There's a chance that he would do some dumb stuff like that. And the fact that we would even consider that and think it's even a possibility lets you know how dysfunctional this organization is. It lets you know we have no idea. We're lost in the wilderness and don't know what the hell we're doing. It's time. Look, tear this thing down, bro. Trade everybody. Trade Max. Don't waste his freaking time. Trade Brock, bro. Keep him. If you're not trying to win, then why bring these people? Why? What's the point? It doesn't make no sense. Look, I have no confidence in anybody in the building.
Not to cut you off.
Anybody in the building.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. It's just the same thing every year. But a media personality, I forgot his name, but he had a video out where he was talking about how, like, Dion and Shador make so much sense now. And I know we talked about this before, but if the Raiders were even to go that route, I commented and I said, hey, man, like, if the Raiders were to do this or attempt to do this, I feel like the Raiders are more interested in the show than actually winning football games. They're not really interested. Like, I think Mark is more interested in the show, Vegas, bright lights, celebrities in the building, and, ha, 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 instead of winning football games, if they were to do that. And I think that's the vibe that I'm getting from Mark, man. Like, it's just, I'm just tired of the Raiders losing. That's what it really boils down to. But we can all agree, disagree about the AP being fired. I feel like the way it was handled was terrible. It just feels like the way the Raiders are. I thought the Raiders were changing. I thought they were like, oh, you know what? They're trying to get some structure. Like, but now you're over here. Look. AP wasn't the only head coach fired. Gerard Mayo, kind of similar, former linebacker. Not turned head coach. He was fired after 1 year, and there are a few people who disagree with the move after 1 year, and it just, even former New England Patriot great Rob Gronkowski was on Fox the other day, just talking about how much he disagreed with the move. But look at how the Patriots move. Very swift. The game ended. Exactly. They fired Mayo. They have a plan. They have a plan, and they're gonna follow through. The Raiders are just like, should we not? I don't know. Yep. It's like, what are we doing? Like, the way it just feels like they're playing checkers out here, man, and not chess, man. Like I said earlier, man. But let's get into the chat real quick. V Bazilla says humiliation rituals approach. Mark Davis took to fire AP. That was nasty work. You know what? To be honest with you, I could even see it from another side too. Is that I don't think Mark has, he's not even thinking about that. Because it's not his first time where he's done things where you be like, why aren't you, for example, Del Rio situation. I thought the Del Rio, I always looked at that situation as just man, that's ruthless. Like the way he fired Del Rio, but he didn't have the, hey, why don't you go to the media and announce that, hey, I just fired, address the media, answer questions. I had to let go Del Rio. Why did you have to have someone else speak for you? Or just to make an announcement of a move that you made? Just thought that was weak. Just like I thought how they handled the situation with AP. I thought that was weak too. So, but yeah, man, let's get into the chat.
Cowardly.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Cowardly.
I'm just saying. Desert Raider, I seen that too. Carroll gonna interview with the Bears. But Vinny was out here, and he's out here kind of connecting the dots with Pete Carroll as a candidate to watch too as well. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope they don't hire a guy like just stay away from Pete Carroll. That's all I'm saying. I just don't think it'd be a great fit. Stay away. Nothing against Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll is an all-time great coach. Nothing against him. Just like Bill Belichick's an all-time great coach. But do I want them to coach the Raiders? No, because we're just at two different points. It just doesn't fit. I feel like I don't think it's going to be a great fit, in my opinion. But, that's just me. Daniel Kim says, I agree with Ray. It was a show and prove year. AP even said it in the offseason. It's a results league. He clearly didn't show the results that he needed to show. Hey. Yeah, no, and that's one thing. I just don't agree with it. Yeah. I just don't agree with 1 year. Oh, you got to show me. The Raiders weren't built to win in 1 year. We weren't built to win. Exactly. We didn't have a quarterback. How do you expect it? To me, this is where the conversation shifts. To me, he was set up to fail. No.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if we're saying I 100% agree with that. But it's a 1 year, prove it, show me what you got. With what quarterback? How do you win games with Minshew and AOC? How do you do that?
Exactly. Yeah, man. It's and you know what? If that's the case, if it was a 1 year, show me, prove it situation, then he was clearly set up to fail. Who did he want as his quarterback? Jaden Daniels. So that means the organization wasn't going to do whatever it took to get Jaden Daniels, because they were going to protect future assets. Because, hey, you might be gone in 2 years. We're not trying to mess up that future. We're not going to go all in and make sure you're successful this year and do all you can to prove that you can be successful this year, because we have to protect the future. Oh, you want Cliff Kingsbury? Oh, we're not going to give him 3 years because we might not have you in 3 years. So we're not going to give you the offensive coordinator that you wanted, that you think you needed to be successful. So unless you're going to give him everything he needs to be successful in that 1 year, then don't judge him off of 1 year. That's counterproductive. That's stupid. That's ignorant. It doesn't make any sense. We're going to make you show us that you can be the guy in 1 year, but we're not going to give you the things you need to be successful in that 1 year. Like, really? Like, if that's the kind of organization you are, then you deserve everything you're going to get.
Right. Pigs 76 says, in all fairness, Mark is going to make more money if fans of other teams are coming to Vegas over local fans. Yeah, that's his trump card. Like, that's his card right there. Like, hey, at the end of the day, he's still going to be making money. But, you know, look, we're going to just voice our opinions on the whole situation. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to be all, you know, hey, we're just going to keep it real. And I think, in my opinion, I think the Raiders are not going to win until Mark Davis is not the owner of the Raiders. There has to be some new ownership. I'm not sure, you know, and I could be wrong. Maybe Tom Brady might be the answer. Who knows? You know what I mean? And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Tom Brady could be the answer, but the guy's he's not even fully with the team. Like, when is he evaluating the team during the season while he's preparing for to commentate for other games? He's going to be in the playoffs commentating as well. Like, you know, I would want someone that's a little bit more all in than that, but you know, that's just one of the things I could say from early on, just critiquing the situation. I'm like, hey, look, why is Tom Brady? I thought he was, if he's going to be the guy that's going to be making these big time decisions, I would love for him to be fully in the building, evaluating the roster, evaluating the team. Has he done that yet? Has he already? I don't know. Like, let me know in the chat, man. Do you think Tom Brady has fully evaluated this roster? You think he's going to be successful right out the gate? I mean, I just think that, you know, not all great players make good executives. I'm just being honest. But Mark wins if we win or lose. Yeah, 100%. Daniel Kim says Salah at DC would be dope. Not sure at OC yet. Don't know who's available. Really good OC. Who's going to be the head coach? I wouldn't want Robert Saleh as a head coach. I like him as a defensive coordinator, though, for sure.
Yeah, I like him as DC. But yeah, who's going to be head coach? And know what? Saleh ain't coming here, bro. He's a Kyle Shanahan disciple. Unless we pay that man handsomely,
right?
Like, he ain't coming here. Like, who would want? Like, I know we're gonna get into that later, but like, look at this situation. Look at the quarterbacks on the roster. Look at how the previous head coaches have been treated. Like, what reputable head coach wants to come here? You have no quarterback. You have a bunch of money in free agency, but you also have a bunch of key free agents that are going to be leaving, right? You like Patrick Graham saw the writing on the wall. Like, it all makes sense now, right? Patrick Graham saw the writing on the wall. He turned down. They offered him a contract extension. He turned it down, and he's already had interviews. And he already had interviews elsewhere. Interview for the Jags head coaching job. Interview for Cincinnati's defensive job. And guess what? If Patrick Graham leaves, that means Robbie Leonard's leaving. That means, you know, our secondary coaches are probably leaving. That means there's a good chance Merrick follows him. Adam Butler might follow him. Maybe Malcolm Kuntz might follow him. Like, there's some people there. Like, it's not just going to be him. There are going to be others. Robbie Leonard. Like, there's going to be people that leave with him. So it's going to leave gaping holes on this team that we're going to have to fill with free agents.
Yeah. No, and it's not just going to be coaches. It's going to be players too. We got a few players that we need to re-sign. And if Patrick Graham, let's say, goes to the Bengals, who I believe he's interviewing for that defensive coordinator job, if he goes to the Bengals, then that gives him a good, you know, advantage in negotiations, because now you have a connection with Patrick Graham, and that he can get some of those players. He can get the Morrigs. He can get the Adam Butlers. He can get the you know, the Kuntz. You know what I mean? A diamond in a rough signing. You know, like that Patrick Graham would be willing to vouch for and take a risk on outside of the Raiders. You know what I mean? Because obviously we know Malcolm Kuntz, but when a guy gets hurt early on, and, you know, sometimes those types of players can can be overlooked. And I feel like a guy like Patrick Graham going to another team, he'll have an early edge on some of these guys that that are free agents. And I think that Patrick Graham leaving is going to be huge. And that's another reason and we talked about this before. That's another reason why you don't give a head coach 1 year. Because even in a tough year like this, where we see like, oh man, there's certain players that are stepping up. I'm like, oh man, like this player, outside of like, a Brock Bowers who can transcend the system, there are certain players that would really develop under this current system. You know what I mean? Now we're going to be losing that, meaning that we're going to have to start over from scratch.
Exactly.
Man, but
yeah,
I wonder. You know what? Let's actually get into that real quick. Let's. Eli says, "What coach do you want? What coach do you want?"
You talking about realistically, like we can get?
No, like he says, who do you want? Who we can get is a different question. Who would be the coach that you would want to get that can possibly be? I mean, I think everybody would want Ben Johnson, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not realistic. I mean, talking about realistic options. A realistic option would be that I would want, because Bobby Slowick not coming here. Ben Johnson ain't coming here. Maybe Liam Cohen, but like I said, like because this is the first opportunity, but like he might look at what's going on here and be like, yeah, I'm cool. I'll wait it out. I'll wait for another cycle. I'm good. Mike LaFleur, who was Matt's brother, he's OC for the Rams right now. He's not obviously he's not a play caller, but guys that like the Shanahan tree, guys off that McVay tree. Liam Cohen he's a guy off the McVay tree too. Even though he spent some years at Kentucky, he was offensive coordinator under McVay. So he's a hot commodity right now. I think Mike LaFleur is a guy that's not really getting any buzz at all. From what I heard, I'm probably one of the first people to bring him up, but I'd be very intrigued with him as a head coach. Now this is one of those swing for the fences type situations where it can go really well for you, or it can go disastrously for you. But it can be much worse than what we've been putting out there the past several years. So you might as well swing big. If you want to go on the defensive side, Brian Flores is a guy. But Brian Flores, he's a guy that has a pretty close relationship with Patrick Graham. So if Patrick Graham is relaying to him like, yo, know what, this organization is bunk. Like, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You see how they just set up. You see how they set up old boy for failure. Like, you can be that next one. So, but I would like him. But like I said, like. All this, like, people don't understand. People look at this stuff and they don't understand the politics behind it all. Now, at the end of the day, money talks and BS walks, but it's all still a relationship business. That's why some of these head coaches keep getting head coaching jobs over and over again, because it's a relationship business. Mike Vrabel failed his final 2 years as a head coach, but somehow he's the hottest commodity out there. Why is that? Because of relationships, right? Like he failed. He won 6 games on a team that had Tannehill. On a team with DeAndre Hopkins, Ryan Tannehill, and Derrick Henry, he won 6 games. And the coaches in his division, the coaches in his division were who? Shane Steichen at his first year, or not? It wasn't even Shane Steichen. It was whoever got fired before Shane Steichen, whoever Houston coach was before he got fired. And then was Doug Peterson there that first year, or was it Urban Meyer? Like he lost in that division. Bro, you lost in the worst division in all of football. And now all of a sudden you're supposed to tell me you're gonna go somewhere and make it better all of a sudden?
Yeah, but he did. Look, I don't hate Vrabel as a head coach option. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm not saying
he had 2 seasons with double-digit wins. 2 seasons with double-digit wins.
Hey, in his second season,
out of
his
6.
second season, he went to the AFC Championship game.
He won 9 games though.
I don't care. He won games when it counted in the playoffs, and went to the AFC Championship game and eventually lost to the Chiefs. And I'm not gonna
Gus
lie.
Bradley though.
He won games,
and
he won games with Tannehill. He won games with Tannehill. You cannot tell me Tannehill is a great QB. He is not a great QB.
He won games with Derrick Henry and AJ Brown.
Him and Derek
He
Carr.
won games with He won games with him and Derek, and you can win if you have a good run. If you have the best back in the league and a top 5 receiver, you can win. You should win, especially when you're in the weakest division in all of football. You should win, and if you get hot at the right time, you can win some playoff games. Gus Bradley did it. Gus Bradley was a controversial call away from going to the Super Bowl. Where's Gus Bradley now? Just got fired last week, yesterday. So I want to hear what you did one time. You won 2 games. You won double-digit games twice. You lost in the worst division in all of football.
I wouldn't
now
be mad.
I
wouldn't be mad at Vrabel. Vrabel is not a terrible option. He's not a terrible option. He's not a terrible option. You're making him seem like he's one of the worst coaches out there. He
took over a team that won 9 games. They fired their coach for winning 9 games. What do you do the next 2 years? Won 9 games.
No one's looking at Tennessee Titans as a juggernaut. No one was looking at Tennessee Titans as a juggernaut.
Nobody's looking at us as a juggernaut. Who's looking at us as a juggernaut? That's my
exactly.
point.
So, and he was able to win with the team.
He has less talent here. Nobody on our roster is better than Tannehill. Nobody. For damn sure nobody on the roster is better than Derrick Henry. For damn sure nobody's better than D-Hop. For damn sure nobody's better than AJ Brown.
Maybe we can find someone better than we can find someone better than Tannehill. We can find someone better than Tannehill.
Have we?
We didn't make an attempt. We didn't make an attempt to find someone better than Tannehill. By the way, Tannehill is not in the league. He's not in the league, y'all. Like he is out the league. Yeah. What is the same age as Wilson? Russell Wilson? Might be younger.
Russell Wilson
and nobody wants Tannehill. You know what I mean? He
Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl winning QB though too. So I mean,
right. But he's still productive. He's still productive. He's still putting 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions last year. This year, he's in the playoffs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, he's still a productive player. Tannehill, he's nowhere to be found. I don't know. Is he? I don't know where he's at. But all I'm saying is that you're making it seem like Tannehill's not replaceable. He's obviously replaceable. Now, can you argue that he's better?
Do we have anybody better than Tannehill?
Currently, we have the worst quarterback room in the NFL. Arguably.
Exactly my point.
My point. But the thing is, all it takes is one offseason. You're making it seem like we can't find someone better than Tannehill. It's not hard.
Joe Flacco was out of league. Joe Flacco was out of the league too until the Browns took a chance on him. Joe Flacco probably wasn't going to be back in the league until the Browns took a chance on him. He got a chance, proved himself. Baker Mayfield was out of the league until
Joe Flacco better than Tannehill. Joe Flacco better than Tannehill.
About the same
Joe
tier.
Flacco, 38, 39 years old, and he's still
about the same tier. They're the same tier of player.
No, he's Super Bowl winner. But put some respect on Joe Flacco's name.
Bro, he's a Super Bowl winner like Trent Dilfer's a Super Bowl winner. He went along for the ride. He went along for the ride with a Super Bowl.
He was on the ride, but Trent Dilfer don't do that. Don't do that. That's disrespectful.
They're the same tier. They're the same tier player. Same tier. Baker Mayfield was out of the league. Baker Mayfield way better than both of them. In my opinion, he was out of the league until who took a chance on him? Sean McVay. And then he took that chance and ran with it. So just because you're out of the league don't mean a damn thing. Like I said, it's all about relationships. Teddy Bridgewater was out of the league. Only reason he's back in the league because he has a relationship with Dan Campbell. Nobody else in the NFL would be bringing Teddy Bridgewater back. Like I said, it's all politics. Same with Vrabel. That's the only reason he's come. That's the only reason people are interested in him. Because his relationships. Because who he was close to.
Which is another reason why we should have someone at head coach like that can actually use his relationships to his advantage and build out a good staff. Now, what scares me off Vrabel is who's his offensive coordinator. Anytime there's a defensive head coach, what's the big hire on his staff? It's always going to be the offensive coordinator. And the same thing goes for offensive coach. Who's going to be the defensive coordinator for that offensive offensive head coach. So you can critique any type of defensive head coach and say, okay, who's going to be the offensive coordinator? But hey, man, I don't think Vrabel will be a bad option, but I think it sounds like he's going to the Patriots. That's what it sounds like.
I'm fine. That's fine. And look, and the Patriots. I sent this. I tweeted this out earlier, and I put a post on IG. The Patriots just interviewed Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich. Now they obviously have no intention of hiring either one of them as their head coach. So obviously they hired those two guys who were outside the organization to fulfill the Rooney Rule, because you have to hire two minority candidates from outside your organization. That's what they did, or one from outside and one internal maybe. But they interviewed them, so obviously they probably already have somebody in mind. They're probably working through contract negotiations right now, and once that deal is finalized, they'll be making an announcement. Is it Mike Vrabel? I think they already spoke to Mike Vrabel, so there's a very good chance it's Mike Vrabel. And if it is Mike Vrabel, good luck to them. Good luck to them, because as soon as Arthur Smith left, that team fell off a cliff. So, and what did he do? Hire Todd Downing. Dumb move. So he made the same. He like this is what I'm saying. He looked at what Todd Downing did with the Raiders, and this is possibly what's going to be just possibly Antonio Pierce's downfall, because Antonio Pierce looked at what Luke Getsy did with the Bears and said, "No, what? Sign me up for that." This dude looked at what this dude looked at what Todd Downing did with the Raiders and said, "No, what? Let me have that guy. Let me have some of that." After seeing how he destroyed, we had one of the best offenses in the league. People were saying, "Oh man, the Raiders, they're going to challenge the Patriots." Then we give Todd Downing the reins of the offense, completely different team, fall off a cliff. Mike Vrabel, a defensive guy, saw that and said, "No, what? I like that. Like, this is the guy you're going to trust with your rookie quarterback?
It's crazy.
Making offensive decisions?"
What's crazy about that situation was when Todd Downing's first year with the Titans, when he that first year he had to take over play calling duties. He had to take it over because for some reason Derrick Henry wasn't getting the football, and he took it over. Vrabel, and he's versatile in that way where he could take over play calling duties, and lo and behold, Derrick Henry ended up taking over for the Titans, and I believe they made the playoffs. I think they made a run to make the playoffs. But that being said, yeah, I think he's headed to the Patriots. But let's hit up some of these super chats, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels, The Severe Raider, and obviously myself, PharoahNFL. Steve, my guy, man, he says, appreciate the super chat. Let me give you the salute here. He says, what's most aggravating is that a few weeks ago, Mark wanted to make sure AP won the last games. Now we can't get a QB1. Why? At least get a QB. Nah, facts. He put it out there. At the end, Mark is just... Severe, you said this before. He's a fan.
Yeah.
He's a fan of the team. I don't think he was a protege of Al Davis. I'm sure he just did his own thing. There's only one Al Davis, and Al Davis, he is the reason why the Raiders are the Raiders. You just look at their history. He curated that whole image, the mystique, and all that. But Mark is not that, and I think Mark. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Maybe he's trying to recreate that. He's trying to follow in his father's footsteps. I don't know. He says, "Oh, I have nothing to do. I don't really know too much about football, but at the same time, you're still making football decisions, and you're not letting the front office people, the GMs, the executives that should be making those decisions do their job." But that's a whole different conversation, man. I just think, yeah, Mark, that's a really good point, because he did mention that. And it didn't make any sense. And he was in the locker room, he's over here cheesing and smiling, and it didn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. But that's another reason why I said the Raiders are playing checkers instead of playing chess. But I could be wrong. They might have a ace up their sleeve. There might be a big time move. And there's a rumor or speculation. I should say speculation, not a rumor. But I've seen some people talk about this. Mike Tomlin. If there's a possibility that the Raiders can get Mike Tomlin, is that the number one move to make? And the way it would happen, it would have to be a trade, Severe. Would you make that move?
Depends on what the conversation was. Depends on what the conversation was, because I think that might take a first round pick. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that.
Right.
I do not know if I want to do that. But yeah, I don't know if I want to do that for a first round pick. For a second, I'll do it. I do it for a second.
Yeah.
For a first, no, because
it's for sure gonna be first.
He's won with Tomlin has won in one. He's for sure gonna be a first. That's what I'm saying. I'm not doing that because he's won with no quarterback. He won with Kenny Pickett. He won with Kenny Pickett, bro. Like, come on. So like, you can trust him. But
now,
I'm not trading the first round. If second is the highest I go,
yeah,
they're gonna want more than the second.
Right. If there's a head coach that would win with AOC at quarterback, it would be Mike Tomlin. It'd for sure be Mike Tomlin because he'll figure out a way.
Yeah,
because the defense. Yeah, he'll figure out a way to get that defense playing good football. Offensively, that's another thing to Mike Tomlin. And this is, like I said, I think this is just, he is a defensive minded coach. And I think his issues have been the offensive side of football. So, and look, he hasn't had a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger. There's that. That's a whole different situation. So I would do it, man, because I know the Raiders, that's almost guaranteed winning football games. We'll be winning football games year in, year out. But where would we be? Where would our ceiling be if we didn't have a quarterback? There still would be a ceiling, because even with the Steelers, because if he's available, it's because that the Steelers are kind of like they're just stuck in one place because they don't have a quarterback. They're not, offensively, it's kind of the same thing over and over again. But they're in the playoffs. Hey, guess what? They're in the playoffs. Look, they're in the playoffs. Russell Wilson's their quarterback. Hey, look, I can't, it's hard for me to criticize Mike Tomlin, Super Bowl winning head coach. Man, I would love for that to happen, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. But like you said, it's just the compensation. The compensation would be, I don't know, what would it look like? First round picks. Because think about it, like Sean Payton was how many? Was it 2 first round picks or 1 first round pick? I think it was 1 first round pick.
I don't remember. I think it was 1. I think it was 1 and something else. It's 1 and another pick, I want to say.
Yeah. And Tomlin is a better coach than Sean Payton.
Yes.
Just based off the consistency, like his consistency, and I think his ability for him to coach up Antonio Brown and how we didn't know Antonio Brown until he left the Steelers, that needs to be studied. That needs to be studied for sure. But real quick, man, let's. My guy Xavier Foster, man, appreciate the super chat. He says we are a firing squad of an organization. Yeah, we keep firing the coaches left and right, and that's part of being a bad football team. There's no consistency. There's no solid foundation set. It's a tough situation. And the thing is, even with Gruden, at least with Gruden, he was there year in, year out.
Exactly.
Even after that first, if everybody remember Gruden's first season, 4-12. Second season, what was it, 7-9?
Yep.
Third season, 8-8. Yep. Fourth season, he gets fired in the middle of the season, but Bisaccia was able to lead the Raiders to playoffs, 10-7.
Yep.
So there was a level of consistency with that team, even though, there's so many things you can criticize about, like the draft picks and just, that's this whole different conversation. And I know I see this. Speaking of Gruden, my guy Raider Smoke. Dare I say Gruden? What do you guys think? I'm pass.
Bro.
Pass.
Bro, I would hang up the headphones, bro. You never hear from me again, bro. You're like, so I've been hitting severe, but he ain't been answering, bro. It's the 50-50 show. 50-50 show would turn into the 100 show. It would be just you.
Man, facts, man. I was severe as no longer. He's no longer part of the 50-50 show. Man, nah. But I 100% will pass with that, man. You just let it go. The Raiders should look for someone younger, someone more innovative. But I'm not sure if they're gonna go that route. They're gonna want a name. Mark wants a name.
Yes.
But maybe Tom could basically point him in the right direction and be like, hey, look, you know what? We should go with this guy. This guy's he knows his stuff, and it might be some young guy that we haven't talked about. But they're talking about this. There's speculation that there's two candidates that no one's really talking about. I wonder who those two candidates are. Is it big names? Is it?
It's some dumbass stuff. It's like John Gruden and Pete Carroll, bro.
Is it
some straight dumbass moves, bro? I'm telling you.
Tom Walsh. Tom Walsh,
bro.
You know what I mean?
Ridiculous stuff, bro. It's some stupid stuff. Like we gonna, bro. All we can do is hope for the best, man. All we can do is hope for the best. I mean, the only thing that like Mark Davis gonna have to back up the Brinks truck, bro. He gonna have to throw stupid money at somebody, stupid money, like crazy. Like you cannot refuse money at somebody. If you want to be in Johnson, bro, it's gonna take 12, 13 mil a year, at least. Plus other stuff. You gonna want other stuff with it.
Yeah. Because look, we don't have a quarterback. When you don't have a quarterback, that puts us low on the list of go-to places for coaches that want to go there. Like we're not like the Patriots are a better landing spot. If you think about it.
Facts. That's why I can see
have a young QB.
I can see Vrabel going there. They have a young QB. They have a pretty good running back in Ramondre Stevenson, and they got a defensive corner piece in Christian Gonzalez. So they got some building blocks there. So I can see him going there like that. That would make sense for him to go there. Like the quarterback is the biggest thing. And you see how Joe Milton just looked, bro. If Joe Milton, you could try to flip him for a 3rd round pick or something like that. Like and unload him off to another team for a good pick, and then hopefully you can turn that into another productive player for your team.
Hey, you know what I was thinking about? And someone said it in the chat, and I had me thinking a little bit. We're gonna have to hear AP's side of the story. Whew! I think AP would when he would. If we know anything about AP, he's gonna tell it like it is. So. If there is a situation where he talks about his time with the Raiders and how everything went down, I'm guessing that he's not going to hold back and he's going to say exactly what he feels and how the situation went down. So that would be an interesting interview, actually, if they do get a hold of Antonio Pierce. But I don't know, maybe he's going to be strategic and hey, look, he doesn't want to make it seem like he's. He might take the high road and yada, yada, yada. There's a possibility, but man, that would be interesting to hear from AP. James Bay says, looking back, Telesco drafting 2 linemen and a tight end is a full rebuild. That wasn't planned on keeping AP. They wasn't planning on keeping AP. That's why they didn't get him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
they didn't get it. Look at the quarterbacks. Look what Gardner Minshew. They're like, oh man, we that was the first signing. The first time we got a Gardner Minshew. I'm like, all right, okay. They, I try to make sense of it and be like, you know what? They didn't give him Jimmy Garoppolo money, but it is kind of high end backup, low end starter money. Okay, I see that. Okay, but they're gonna draft a QB, right? They're gonna draft a QB, but they didn't do it. And when they didn't do it, I was like, wow, like, is this really happening? Like, so now I do believe that it's a situation where, AP was set up to fail. That's what no one's talking about. Everybody's talking about like, well, I don't agree with AP and his, his game management. I don't believe AP is a guy, after 1 year. Oh, I don't think AP shouldn't, after given a 2-year deal, he knew that it was a 1-year prove it deal. Like, but how do you prove that you're the guy without a QB, without a literally?
Exactly.
How many player starters on the injured reserve like hurt? Like Max Crosby shut it down. Like he literally had to have surgeries. I think he had surgery, right? I believe he had surgery.
He had surgery.
He had surgery.
Christian Wilkins shut down early in the year. Devontae Adams traded. Michael Mayer missing a big chunk of the year. Jacoby missing some games.
So when you have all those things going against you, then everybody start looking at your weakness. And I think, there are certain weaknesses to AP, but the other side to it is, can he get better? Some people, that's an argument that, some people are like, yeah, he can't get better. I think we should just cut our losses. Okay, whatever, but I just feel like, man, like they didn't even make no attempt to get a QB. And that's a number one thing where you could point to and be like, just give him one more year. But, we'll see. We'll see who's going to be interested in the Raiders head coaching job. That's going to be interesting. Yeah. Who's going to be really interested in a job where there is no quarterback? We don't have the number 1 pick, let alone a top 5 pick. We're pick number 6. The Raiders are pick number 6. So we'll see. But yeah, man, appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Let's move it along real quick, man. Let's get to the flag on the play, man. It's that time, man. It's that time.
69, offense. He was giving them the business. We played it down.
Man, it is flag on the play, man. If you want to lead the way, Severe on the first flag on the play.
We're going with Reek.
You know what? Actually, let's talk about dysfunctional ownership. I'll just go ahead and play this real quick.
Yeah, right.
And let me give me 1 second here. I'll set this up. But we're talking about Mark Davis, but Mark Davis, there are other owners out there who are interesting to say the least. And recently there was a media call with Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Trent Baalke, who, people you can point to and say like, hey man, they should have been let him go, because how many head coaches has he fired? Him and Tom Telesco, I think he has Tom Telesco beat. But he's gone through head coaches left and right. Let me go ahead and I'll play this soundbite real quick of the Shad Khan basically on a media call, and they ask him what happens if a prospective head coaching candidate wants to go a different direction at GM, and this is what he had to say. Hold on 1 second. My bad, y'all.
Manager, what would your response be?
My response would be, if it is credible.
Back to you. I know you noted that if this head coaching candidate was to say, hey, I think the medical needs to be reevaluated, the health and wellness, if they were to say, I would like to reevaluate the front office and the general manager, what would your response be?
My response would be, how would you improve it? And then if it is credible, you want to do it.
Back to you.
Hey, mind you, I should have put it on the screen, but pretty much it's a media call, and Shad Khan is on the call with the GM, and he pretty much told the person that was asking him that question that, like, hey, look, if the head coach wants the new GM, then that's what it's gonna be. We gonna get rid of him, and his current GM Trent Baalke is right there. So I don't know if he knew that, but definitely flag on a play. Sounds pretty like a dysfunctional situation. The Jaguars are not a good team. They're not a good franchise. It's just there's a reason for that. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts on this, Severe?
Yeah, man, I look at that and I hear how that owner did that GM. And I think, wow, Mike Vrabel won 6 freaking games in the division with that team. The dude is trash. Get him the hell out of here, bro. Do not bring him to the Raiders at all. But yeah, that's like, I guess Shad Khan he just stood on business right there. He kept it real. He was just like, yo, like this dude is I'm not wedded to this dude. I'm not married to him at all. Somebody got a better plan? Hey, I'm open for business. What you got? What you got?
But you know what? Hey, look, I'll put a poll in there, man. I'm gonna put another poll. So the last poll that I put, I said, do you guys agree with AP? The Raiders firing AP. Final results are about 60% yes. 40% said no. But I'll put a poll out there. Vrabel, which I don't think he's coming to the Raiders. I'm gonna put that out there. I think he has an interview lined up with the Patriots. It makes sense for him to go to the Patriots. He got so much connections back there. It just seems like it's a perfect landing spot.
And that division is weak. That division is weak.
Yeah, it's perfect.
The Jets are in turmoil. The Bills are good, but the Dolphins are low key in turmoil. And we'll I don't know if we're gonna get to that in a minute, but they're in flux. And then it's the Patriots. So the only team they really have to contend with is the Bills. Everybody else is trash. As opposed to coming here, he has two for sure legit teams. And then possibly if the Broncos continue to improve, then the Broncos as well. Like yeah, of course go there and be in another weak division.
Well, hey, look, it's smart. It's smart. You got to be strategic.
Yeah, smart.
You got to be strategic. But so what? You respect the coach that goes to a more competitive division than the coach that goes to a more weaker division?
No, you got to be smart. You got to go to the better situation. Like I'm not here to like prove, and I'm not here to prove anything to anybody, bro. I'm here to win games. I'm gonna go wherever I can win the most games and or get the most money. Like, that's where I'm going.
Right.
If I'm in a better situation over here where I got a potential franchise quarterback, a really good, it looks like backup quarterback in Joe Milton. I got a guy that could be a workhorse back, and I got a shutdown corner in Christian Gonzalez. Like, I'm gonna go there. And the division is trash. Oh yeah, I'm taking that deal all day.
Yeah.
With the organization he knows too.
Yeah. I get it 100%. But on the other hand, you got like a guy like Jim Harbaugh who actually went ahead and wants to coach this lost San Diego Chargers, and in a really competitive division, meaning a division with the best quarterback and arguably the best coach in the NFL in Andy Reid. So he kind of took a different approach in that, you know what, he's all like, hey, I believe in the players, whatever reasons why he believed in the Chargers, who cares? But they're in the playoffs, and he took a different approach. And with Sean Payton, some people look at him and be like, oh, look at his resume, he's won the Super Bowl, yada yada yada. He was coaching Drew Brees all the years.
It looked a lot different coming off of last year, though.
Right. Well, hey, you know what though? They did win some games this year. Bo Nix didn't look too bad out there. Looked like he fit whatever system they got going on over there.
He was solid.
He was solid. Defense looked good. Defense was never an issue with the Broncos as of recently, like recent years. Like defense has always been kind of pretty solid, but offensively they kind of been in a funk. and it seems like Sean Payton has it, good. They're going headed in the right direction. But the Raiders are in a tough division too as well. So it's like, man, that's another thing too. So that's another reason why like it's going to be tough to get a head coach to come here, because they're going to look, it's going to be a tough division. You're going against all these quarterbacks, all these head coaches, and we don't have certain things in place that would help a coach who is basically like, hey, if you don't win, you're going to get fired. Look at AP. Exactly. He didn't win. He didn't get fired. I mean, he got fired, I should say. And AP is an extreme example, like usually teams like to give coaches a little bit longer than 1 year, but look, that's I'm done with that conversation. But yeah, flag on the play on Shad Khan. Man, if that's not your guy, go ahead and fire the GM. It seems like he should have let him go. If he's talking like that, like it doesn't seem like he's confident in keeping Trent Baalke. I'm like, man, it's crazy. Trent Baalke, you think Trent Baalke should just resign after that? That was kind of disrespectful.
Hell no. If they gonna still pay me, I'm still staying. If they paying, I'm staying. What? As long as them checks keep cashing, brother, I'm staying where I'm at. Say whatever the hell you want. Talk about firing me until the day you do. But
some people were saying, some people were saying people on the coaching staff was collecting checks this season.
Yeah, they were saying something like, they were trying to say that about Philbin. They're trying to say that about Philbin, but Philbin, look, as soon as Philbin got his shot, you see the offensive line, you see the run game. So
man,
they can say what they want. Philbin got his chance, and he took off with it. So
you know what looked better? The offensive line looked better. Offensively, we look better. I felt like we look better. Man, this is the best we've looked in the last, I don't know, 2-3 years, offensively. Meaning not like oh, we're so explosive and it's more. It just looks like there's a plan. There's a certain level of like the play calling is there. I felt like for a while we were like, man, a terrible play call, or we get to the red zone and we're just, what are we doing here? Like it just felt like offensively for the Raiders for the last few years with McDaniels and that whole situation, outside of Josh Jacobs having a career year, offensively the Raiders have been pretty much bad up until I would say, I don't know. I think the Scott Turner. I think he didn't. See, it's to the point where he should have been the guy over old boy that AP had in place.
Bo Hardegree.
Yeah, and where's Bo Hardegree these days? Where is he somewhere on someone's coaching staff?
He's QB coach somewhere. I forget where.
With the Broncos, huh? He's with the Broncos, huh? He's with the Broncos. Oh my God.
Is he with the Broncos? I don't know. I don't remember. I want to say he's QB coach somewhere.
He went to the Broncos. I gotta look that up.
Check it out. He might be with the Patriots.
Oh, never mind. He went to the Titans. Ooh, that's even worse.
Oh yeah.
Damn. He's. I don't know, man. Like that's a tough situation for him. He might need to go back to the drawing board because old boy ain't look. The QB over there ain't having them look good. Man. But yeah, that's the first. That was the first flag on the play. The second flag on the play, man. Severe, if you want to go ahead and roll this one out.
I think we kind of talked about the other one already. So let's go with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, he ended his season, or the Dolphins season was over. Of course, they had a losing season. They missed the playoffs, and some of the reporters, approached Tyreek Hill, and they were asking questions, and he did not hold back at all.
So we're going with Tyreek Hill. All right, let's go with Tyreek Hill and see what he has to say. All right, flag on the play on Tyreek Hill.
This is my first time. I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but
I mean, you thinking about leaving here?
if it is, hey, yeah. This is my first time.
Yo,
I think he even changed his social media handle where he put his head on Antonio Brown as he's leaving the Jets field with the peace sign.
Dang. Yeah, so it's part of the reason I went there because the honorable mention, of course, we've been talking about it the entire beginning of the show. Was the honorable mention was how the Raiders handled Antonio Pierce, how they kind of put him out there to low-key emasculate him in a disgusting display for an organization to do that to their head coach. And then all they had after they fired him was a weak-ass tweet. But part of the reason I wanted to go with Tyreek is because I wanted to broach this topic. Max Crosby. Tyreek Hill is not viewed as a guy that only cares about winning. He's been viewed as a guy that only cares about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason why he went to Miami, was because he had just won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and he wanted to get paid. Mm-hmm. But now part of the reason why he's leaving Miami, or he wants to leave Miami, is because they're not winning. And so you think about that, and then you look at a guy like Max Crosby. How must Max Crosby feel being in this organization, seeing this turnover, right? Max Crosby, he gets close to Rob. He gets close with Coach Buck, right? Buckner. He's fired. Then he gets real close with Rob Marinelli. That regime is gone. Then he gets real close with Rich Bisaccia. He's gone. Then he gets real close to AP, Patrick Graham, and Robbie Leonard. They're all gone. What reason does he have to stay here? He talks about it all the time. He does this to win. He wants to win. That is his sole purpose. That's why he goes out there all the time. That's why he does what he does. Puts his body through what he puts his body through. That's why he's up 6 a.m. every day at the facility, training, watching tape. He does all of that to win. And this organization has yet to prove that they can win. What is to say that Max Crosby, who advocated heavily for Antonio Pierce last season, I don't know how he feels now. He advocated heavily for Antonio Pierce last season to be his head coach. How would he feel? How must he feel right now? Who's to say he won't do the same? And we already heard his comments before. Who's to say he won't do the same thing and say, you know what? I ain't touched the playoffs my entire career. And y'all look like y'all in a full rebuild and nowhere near close to touching the playoffs. And nobody in this building seems to know what the hell they're doing, especially in terms of hiring a head coach. I'm supposed to trust my future in a guy that's one of the worst at hiring head coaches of all time, or Tom Brady, who's never done this before. Is that what I'm entrusting my future to? Because if that's what I am entrusting my future to, I only have a finite amount of time in the NFL. And while I'm here, I want to win. So why should he choose to stay here? What would keep him here? That's my question.
No, facts. And it just has me thinking too, like how, like the Raiders have I think probably top 3 amount of cap space available to sign free agents this year. I think at least over 100 million, but then, you're probably going to subtract that when it comes to re-signing certain guys. But like I said earlier, at this point, with everything changing, you're almost going to have to convince some of these players to come back. And not just convince some of these players to come back, but even players that are free agents that the Raiders want to get. Like, we're almost going to have to overpay almost to get some of these players. And this reminds me of those tough years. It's been a lot of tough years. But I just remember it's been a lot. It's been a lot of tough years.
The tough years, you mean the past 20?
Man, where the Raiders, they're not being a good football team, they have to overpay to get a slightly above average talent to come, if not a blue chip player. I mean, you're not going to get most likely you're not going to get a blue chip player in free agency, because a lot of those guys are going to get signed, franchise tendered, whatever the case may be. But like guys like Devontae, there's a reason why Raider Nation, everybody was celebrating, because he was a blue chip player coming to the Raiders. Like, oh man, we got arguably the best player at his position come to the Raiders. But for the most part, we don't have a quarterback. We don't know who the head coach is. I don't know what the draw is for free agents to come outside of like closer to the West Coast. No tax. You're going to get all of that money that the Raiders are going to provide in that contract. But as far as the team, the on the field success, as of right now, like, I don't know when the Raiders are going to be good. Could it be next year? Crazier things has happened. We've seen certain teams turn around after one season, but right now you can't say that guarantee because we don't even know who the quarterback is going to be. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. We don't know the head coach. We don't know the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We don't know anything right now, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but definitely a flag on a play on. Man, like look, he got traded. You know what's crazy about Tyreek Hill? He got traded to the Dolphins because he wanted to get paid, I believe. I think he wanted to get paid or something to that effect. And there are people connecting the dots to the Raiders getting Tyreek Hill. And the reason why he's upset is because he's not winning. So you can scratch off the Raiders because the Raiders don't have a quarterback and there's no guaranteed success. There's no road to success with the Raiders right now that I would say a Tyreek Hill would look at and be like, I want to go there. Nah, he's not going to want to go there. And even a lot of people talking about the wide receiver T. Higgins. Why would he come to the Raiders? I don't see
a bad.
I don't
be the number one guy. That's all.
Yeah, I don't see T. Higgins come to the Raiders at all. Like there is no. Because meaning that it's not because the Raiders won't offer him a contract that he would say no to. It's more so like there's going to be other teams that are going to offer similar contracts that have a better situation. Like a Commanders. I could see T. Higgins going to the Commanders. Yeah. That would be a nice fit with Jaden McDaniels and what they got going on and what they building. But yeah, definitely flag on the play on Tyreek, man. He definitely he was emotional after that loss. Like, and the GM, GM tried to calm everything down and say like, we talked to Tyreek. He hasn't demanded a trade. I spoke to him. He hasn't told me that he wants to get traded and yada. But we'll see, man. Him and Antonio Brown are pretty close, so I don't know. I don't know. Exactly. It seemed like it. They're good friends, so they might be over there scheming. Who knows? Who knows, man? But yeah, man, that wraps up flag on a play. There's definitely some other things being talked about in the news with Fox Sports, whatever you want to call them. Like, look, it's crazy out there, man. But that's definitely a flag on a play worthy. But that's a different conversation for another day. But if you haven't already, I got to remind y'all, man, because y'all be forgetting, man. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Let's get into the chat real quick before we move it along.
Right.
Oh, okay. We got a Smoke. We got a super chat from our guy Smoke, man. I appreciate you, my guy. He says, Severe, I can see a Dion and Shador pairing.
Oh, my goodness, no. Oh, my goodness, no.
Man,
no.
Please. Come on, man. That's the wrong answer. Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Nah, facts, man. But yeah, that'd be terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Well, you know what? I just can't see it being more than a show. I just can't see it. Like Dion, if Dion comes to the Raiders, do you really believe that he would stay with the Raiders if his son were to leave or go to another team? Or I just don't see how it makes sense.
Bro,
I don't know, man. It just seems.
Look,
it doesn't make any sense.
Dion has a top 5 draft pick quarterback on his team. The number 1 overall player in the nation, Heisman Trophy winner, and they just got the brakes beat off of him in the bowl game, bro. Got the brakes beat off of him, bro. I'm good. I'm good on Deion, man.
Yeah.
I'm good on Deion.
No, facts. My guy Ray, man, I guess he want to chime in on this. He says, I really think new ownership makes this opening slightly more attractive if they sell. If the sell is that Mark Davis isn't making football decisions, $100 million plus free agent top 6 pick. But are players going to be thinking that?
No, he's talking about for a head coach. But okay, so
for a head coach,
for a head coach, $100 million plus touch. So if he said you got to pay I think he's talking about $100 million in cap space to spend on free agency, plus you get a top pick. But guess what? Guess what? You still don't have. You still don't have a quarterback. You still have a GM that has no idea how to even hire a head coach. You have the guy who's supposed to be president of football operations, who while he has gravitas because he's Tom Brady, he has no idea how to run a football organization himself because he's never done it. So you have all these people that don't know what the hell they're doing, and you would tell me that that's going to be attractive to a young head coach looking to build his brand in the NFL. Like, the number one most important thing for success as a head coach is either having a dominant defense, which is no guarantee we'll have because Patrick Graham is going to be gone and we're bringing in a new system, or having the quarterback, and we won't have either. So why would a head coach want to come to that with you being in the toughest division in all of football, outside of maybe the NFC North and now the AFC North too?
I see what you're saying, Ray, man. That's a positive. Having $100 million in cap space is a positive. Having a top 6 pick is a positive. But like Severe said,
they're positive, sure.
But the thing is that when you don't have a quarterback, there's going to be better options out there. So that's why I said that, like, the Raiders are going to be below some of these teams just off the fact that, this team has a quarterback. Even with when we had Derek Carr, when that was a selling point for some coaches. Were, they got a quarterback in place. They got Derek Carr. Whether you hate him or love him, like, there was a quarterback in place. And certain coaches, McDaniels even said, one of the reasons why I came here is because they had, Derek Carr is a guy that I wanted to coach. And there were rumors that the Patriots, while McDaniels was with the Patriots, they were looking to trade for Derek Carr. Yeah. There was a rumor out there. So there's some truth to McDaniels being a Derek Carr guy. We all found out that, that didn't last long, but
that didn't last long at all. But I agree with what Ray says insofar as it does, all that stuff does make the team more attractive. But it doesn't mean it's attractive enough for you to go there, right? If you have an ugly girl and you slap makeup on her, she's can be more attractive. That don't mean I want to date her or smash. Like, that don't change anything. You still ugly. You just not as ugly as you were before. You feel me? So, like, just because it's more attractive doesn't mean I'm going to jump at the opportunity. But it, like, he's correct, though. I think it does make him more attractive. But like I said, though, these guys have the pick of the best jobs in the league. The Raiders aren't one of them.
Yeah, and I think that's what the point that we're trying to make is, like, there's some positives to the Raiders' job, but then when you start comparing them to other spots, you gotta when you break it down, the biggest thing that some of these head coaches look for is a quarterback, because they know that their success or their job security is basically winning football games. And what helps them the most to win football games is having a quarterback in place. So that's why I question the 1-year deal that they gave to AP. You know what I mean? Like, were they being serious? No, it was a setup job for AP. That's why, like, come on, man. Like, look, these coaches are going to teams that already have quarterbacks. That's why, like, even Jim Harbaugh, Like I knew he wasn't coming to the Raiders. He was using the Raiders as a negotiation tactic. One of the, possibly. Look at my connection. I used to be one of the assistant coaches there back in the day. But in reality, he was never coming to the Raiders because we didn't have a quarterback. But it is what it is, man. And let's move it along real quick. Telesco and Tom Brady are making this choice. Okay. Hopefully it's a good choice.
Look at the track record.
Yeah, 0-0 for Tom Brady. Basically, he's never been put in a position to do that. I'm sure he's, being the caliber player that he was, he's always been there when it comes to making certain decisions, but not picking a head coach. That's going to be a first for him. And Telesco, come on, man. What is it? Brandon Staley, obviously terrible. Then that didn't work out. Terrible. The coach before him was
Anthony Lynn.
Anthony Lynn. You know what I mean? Probably a solid running back coach, probably solid OC, whatever, but not a head coach. It didn't work out as a head coach. Rick L says, glad AP got canned. Hey, man.
A lot of people are happy. I mean, I can't get mad at them. You see a 4-13.
But the thing is, though, we're just because that's what we look forward to. We like Raider fans, we look forward to people getting fired. Oh man, yeah. This dude needs to get fired. He sucks. They need to cut him. They need to trade him. That's what we look forward to.
Yeah, this is our like most interesting time of the year. This is when we get the most activity.
Isn't that sad?
Like sad. That's hella sad, bro. It's disgusting. It is disgusting.
Austin, the Wanderer, says there are only so many head coaching openings each year. I think Tom Brady gives us some juice to start over. Don't be surprised if Cohen comes to Vegas off the strength of Brady connection to Todd Boyles. We'll see.
Yes, there are only so many head coaching.
But Liam Coleman is not someone I look at and be like, oh, that's a hard get for the Raiders. I think the Raiders could get a Liam Cohen if Tom Brady wasn't here or not. In my opinion, because I don't think he's at the top. I don't think he's at the top of who they're looking at as like, oh, we want him as a head coach. It's not like a Ben Johnson. You know what I mean? It's not like a Ben Johnson or some of these other guys.
But it's the same situation where just because there are only a certain amount of jobs doesn't mean you have to take the job as soon as available. We've seen guys before. Perfect example, Sean Payton. Remember, as close as Al Davis and Jerry Jones were, when Sean Payton tried to take a job here with the Raiders, Jerry Jones paid him more money and convinced him not to take the job here because of how bad it is. And Ben Johnson had opportunities to take jobs last year. I'm sure Bobby Slowick probably had an opportunity to take some jobs last year. Like, just because you have an opportunity to take a job doesn't mean you have to take a job, especially if it's not the right job. And that's what coaches are starting to learn. Like, why put myself in a bad situation and that's going to cost me potentially my career or my future? If I'm in a good spot, stay in this spot until the right position opens. I mean, perfect example. I hate to go back to this guy, but Josh McDaniels, he took the job with the Colts. And then he figured out Jim Irsay is a lunatic, and then he changed his mind. So like when you have pick of the litter, you don't have to settle.
Right. You
have options, right? If I'm the best looking guy in the club, I don't gotta date that ugly girl with the makeup on. I can get this dime piece over here.
Right.
Ain't no dimes in the club. Guess what? I go to the club tomorrow night. It might be a dime tomorrow night.
Reese Rock says makeup on ugly people is equal to sorcery, the ultimate deception. Oh man, y'all hilarious, man. Marty Mars says people still think we had Harbaugh. No, hell nah. What the hell? Like, why would he come to the Raiders? Exactly. I wanted Harbaugh a while back, but once I figured out, like, damn, he's using the Raiders. Like, he just using them. You're just using him. And that's what the Minnesota Vikings figured out too. He went for an interview and everything, got more money, was able to re-up with Michigan, won a championship, came out. He knew who he was going to, and it was the Chargers because of Justin Herbert. There's a quarterback. Raiders don't have that. And I think Ray, he says, I didn't say it was attractive. I said new ownership makes it more attractive if Mark isn't making football decisions, but you're assuming that head coach can identify a QB they want. If they can, it's attractive. Yeah, but I'm not saying a coach, of course, the coach is going to accept the job. Whoever is going to get the job, and they're going to have a plan in place, and they're going to, but what we're saying is, are we going to be able to attract top level head coaching talent? I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to be the first option, or the second, or third.
Yeah.
Fourth.
I mean, who is you saying
pick
like they can identify a quarterback? Yeah, they can have identify the quarterback. Maybe they can identify the quarterback they want, but that don't mean they'll be able to get him. Maybe they're in love with Cam Ward. Or do we have the resources to move up to get Cam Ward? Though first of all, it takes two to tango. We didn't have the resources to get up and get Michael Penix. We for damn sure didn't have the resources to go up and get Jaden Daniels, right? Does Shador fall to us? Does a new coach even want Shador? Are there some later round guys that they like? Like who's in free agency? We already saw what that looks like. It's a bag of misfits, right? Like of misfit toys outside of maybe Sam Darnold. And how much do you believe in him? Because he's only really been good under Kevin O'Connell, kind of like Kirk Cousins was good under Kevin O'Connell when to Atlanta, he gets benched before the year's over. Kind of like I said, for all those people that said Michael Penix wouldn't play till he's 30, I guess did he just turn 32 3 weeks ago? Because he's playing and he's playing well too.
Right. APDDT says a lot. Lots of QBs know what good QBs look like. What the F does that do for us picking our future QB? We can ask a great QB who they like, who's Gannon like, who's the Manning like. I call BS. Okay, I think this is a conversation that's happening in the chat, man. Hey, the chat is going crazy, man. I'm trying to catch up. Appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to click and hit my guy Rambo. Long time no see, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Back with the good news just to hear Severe. Rambo was not a good AP guy for sure. He definitely wasn't an AP guy.
He sure was an AP guy.
Happy New Year, my guy, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. The timing is impeccable though. Like you came just in time. Sure. But Steve, man, what a super chat, man. My guy, man. Appreciate the super chat. Gotta give it a salute. He says, doesn't matter if he got fired, it's the way he got fired. Head coach hire is just as important as drafting QB, and it's a big problem with history of instability and lack of QB or number one pick. This job offers no joy. No pun intended, man. Joy Taylor.
Right. But, maybe. All right, that was slick, Steve.
Hey, man.
The fastest they get paid. It's the fastest they...
That's funny, man.
Because it's the fastest who gets paid, and it's the fastest who gets laid.
Especially with Joy.
Man, Joy, man. That's just, if you know, you know. Ja Raider in the building says Pete Carroll over Mike Vrabel without question. Pete Carroll is known to hire great DC coaches. Okay. So what you're banking on is on the staff that he's going to be able to put together. But I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to have to look up the success of coaches at his age coaching the game. And like, man, he's 73?
73, bro. By the time, bro, this is damn near a full rebuild, bro. By the time this team is any good, he's going to be like 78 years old, bro. It's going to be
man,
oh, my God, bro. He's like my grandmother's age, bro. Real talk.
And that's, hey, look, 60 would have been better. Look, Marty Marr says the ages of the AFC coaches are 66, 61, 61. I'm cool with the 60. The 70.
70. He's almost a full. He's more than a full decade than two of those guys, and almost a full decade. I think 66 is Andy Reid. I think 66 Andy Reid.
Yeah. But Andy Reid, he not rebuilding. He's
exactly.
locked in. He's like, man, as soon as this falls apart, I'm out. I already know. If
Andy Reid had to take this job, bro, he might die the next day, bro. He might just faint, just pass out. Like,
right.
dog, no, bro. Like, I don't care how much super greens Pete Carroll's eating, how many vitamins he taking, how many hikes he going on, bro. He's 70. He do not have the energy to go into a full rebuild, and that's essentially what this is.
Ray says, I guess the whole club is full of girls with makeup. Bears even got makeup on their nails.
The Bears job is 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times better than this job, bro. What? It's not even a comparison. You comparing the Bears job to us? Oh hell, bro. The Bears is such a more attractive job. It's not even close, bro. They have a quarterback. They have DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet.
Right.
They have pieces. They have Montez Sweat on defense too. Who do we have? We all we have right now is they have Tremaine Edmonds too. I want to say all we have right now is Brock Bowers and Max Crosby. That's all we have.
Jacoby Myers just broke 1,000 yards first time.
I like Jacoby, but he got 1 year left. So who's to say he don't peace out? Like, bro, all my dogs is gone.
Right.
All the people that brought me here is gone. Why am I staying?
Jacorian Bennett might be diamond in the rough.
I like Jacorian too.
Jacorian took a step this year.
Jacorian Bennett been in the league 2 years. He finished 2 years. So
yeah. and how many has he had an interception in his career? Maybe one.
I don't think he has one. I don't think he has one.
He has. I don't think he has one. That's a little trivia question for y'all. Does Jacorian Bennett have an interception?
I don't think he got one, bro.
Let's see who can answer this real quick. Let's see right here. Does Jacorian has an interception? Y'all looking it up right now. I already know y'all looking it up.
I don't think he got one, bro, to be honest with you.
Jacorian's never had an interception? He's never been a ball hawk. He's just been one of the. He got
even
that
in college, bro.
His swag.
How many guys?
That Namdi swag. That's that Namdi swag.
How many interceptions did he have in college? I don't even think he had none in college like that, bro. To be honest with you, he was.
Swell family says no.
Yeah, he don't got to pick, bro. He don't got to pick.
Damn, bro. Like, yeah, we gotta see another. We gotta see him next year and see what it looks like and see if he could be consistent and show that he could be a solid corner on the other side. But damn. So what's up with Jack Jones? Is he out of here?
Bro, gone, done, finito. It's a wrap. We taking Will Johnson at 6. It's a wrap for Jack Jones, bro. You piecing out.
Yeah, well, we'll see, man. We'll see. But damn, that was an AP guy for sure. So I know he probably feels some type of way about it, especially the way they did him. Sure. You know what I mean? So,
but a lot of these dudes, bro.
Steve, man, appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, for sure, man. Steve was one of them day ones, bro. When I had like 10 subscribers, Steve was one of the first ones. But yeah, man, I'm sure a lot of these dudes feel some kind of way about it, bro. I mean, they understand it. People always say, "Oh, it's a business. It's a business." People understand it's a business, but there's such a thing as bad business.
Hey, man, Cage says I made my son a Raider.
Bro, why would you do that? I'm calling Child Protective Services on you, bro. I'm not even making my son a Raider, bro. If he grows up and he wants to be one, hey. That's the choice he has to make. I'm not gonna put him through what I'm going through right now, man. I'm not gonna do it. I'm letting him root for whoever you want to root for. His favorite player is Justin Jefferson. Hey, power to him.
Man, that's tough, man. But Austin says I don't think the Jaguars are as attractive with them retaining Balky as GM. The Jets are probably the worst organization. New Orleans don't really have a QB. The defense is old too. You know what? That's true. Okay, Austin. Hey, I love the positive. Hey, Austin, we gotta have you call in, man. The positivity, it's cool. You and Ray, man, are holding down the positivity in the chat right now.
No, the Saints is the worst job. The Raiders are like 4th.
Saints, they're in cap hell. Like I don't know how they were able to. they've been pushing. They're old. They're like over the cap. Like they need probably a couple of seasons to get under the cap. And Derek Carr said he's not taking no pay cut. He said I'll restructure, but I ain't taking no pay cut. I wouldn't take no pay cut either. I'm like, you gonna pay me every penny of this contract.
Yeah. I mean, the Saints are the worst job, and then it's tied between the Raiders and the Jets for fifth. I say we slightly better than the Jets job though.
All you gotta do is look look at the tankathon, right? Let's look at some of the teams here. I'll look at some of the teams here real quick before we move it along. Let's see. We got all right, so we got Tennessee. They have a head coach. They hired him last year. So I'm assuming that they're gonna keep their head coach. Cleveland, they like their guy. I haven't seen them. I've seen reports, but I like him though too. But I don't think they're gonna let him go.
Stefanski?
Yeah.
I don't know. He
not yet. Not yet. Maybe not this year, but we'll see. Giants, haven't heard anything on that front. Man, I was hoping Dable would be an OC option too, because I thought the Giants was gonna fire him. Damn. All right, so New England, that's probably a better spot than the Raiders just because they have a quarterback.
Probably number one.
Yeah.
Nah, that's number one. That's number one.
So Jacksonville. Jacksonville. They do have
that's number
Lawrence. They have a quarterback. So
Jacksonville got picked. Depending on how you feel about Chicago, Jacksonville is either number 2 or number 3. They got Trevor Lawrence, they got Etienne, they got Bigsby, they got Evan Ingram, one of the best tight ends in the league. Then they got Brian Thomas Jr.,
receiver,
who in most of the years, Brian Thomas Jr. In most of the years, he's rookie of the year he's the best, pass catcher out of the draft. He just so happened to be in the class with Brock Bowers, who broke the record for most rookie receptions, and Malik Neighbors, who damn near broke the rookie record for most receptions, and he missed like 2 games. So he just happened to be in the class with 2 of the best pass catchers of all time.
Okay, so facts. He was serving this year. Jacksonville. So you would have Jacksonville number 2 or 3, and then have not the Jets, but Chicago. It's between Jack. So that's 3 jobs where you could say just because they got a quarterback.
Yeah, and I probably had Jacksonville higher than Chicago for 2 reasons. First of all, you're in Florida, no state income tax, and then you're in the AFC South, so you got to deal with the Texans, But then you got it's the Titans and the Colts. Like,
how about Dallas?
Like the Titans is trash.
How about Dallas?
I don't know if Mike McCarthy. He ain't been fired yet.
But I know. Did you hear the comments? You heard the comments by Jerry Jones?
No,
because they basically said the Chicago Bears requested to interview Brian McCarthy because his contract is up, and he says he's gonna. And Jones is like, yeah, I'll let him talk to him. Like, I'm not gonna block him if he doesn't want to be here. He made it seem like he doesn't want to be here, but like, bro, like you haven't told him that he should be here. Like, he hasn't extended nothing.
Exactly.
But that's a whole different conversation. Dallas, who cares about Dallas? But like, what I'm saying is that Dallas could have an opening at head coach. Would you say Dallas is a better spot or the Raiders? They have Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott is like a little bit better than Derek Carr.
Yeah,
like a more athletic Derek Carr.
Dak Prescott way better than Derek Carr. He did way better than Dak Prescott didn't like.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Ever since his injury, it's just like he just. I don't know, man.
I can see what you mean there now. Dak Prescott, he way better than Derek Carr.
Where do you put him? Where do you put him though? I'm saying, where do you put him? He not top 10, not top 15.
Not top 15. Not this year. He's top 15. Top 15. He outside of top 10 this year though for sure. He top 15, bro. He just threw for like 5,000 some yards last year. He led the league in passing last year or something. He threw for something crazy last year, like some stupid numbers last year. Like he's way better than Carr. Way better than Carr. But this year he wasn't that great though. I'll give you that. But the Cowboys, the Cowboys. This is the thing, because I like Rico Dowdle. CeeDee Lamb is a dog. Diggs is nice, but he's hurt. Michael Parsons is as a pass rusher every bit as good as Max Crosby. Now he doesn't touch him as a run defender.
Right.
I think they still got Lawrence there. Smyzie Smith is solid. They got a solid offensive line. I mean, yeah, probably only the X factor there is, do you want to deal with Jerry Jones or do you want to deal with Mark Davis? That's kind of it. But it's also a higher profile job.
That's
a way
true.
higher profile job. So
That's true. Damn, the Colts keeping their coach. Miami's keeping their coach. Arizona's keeping their coach. Cincinnati. I thought that Cincinnati was going to fire their coach. I'm like, damn, that's Ben Johnson central right there. Ben Johnson would have.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah, for sure. Seattle. Oh, did Seattle fire their coach?
Nah.
They kept their coach. Oh, they fired the offensive coordinator. They fired the OC. Your boy from Washington, right? I think Grubbs.
Okay.
He ended up getting fired. Offensive coordinator for Seattle. But
he came. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
So I guess so we might be able to get somebody just by default. Possibly.
No, but
that's three. That's three teams. That's three teams ahead of us. At least 3 teams.
But I think people are working under the assumption that these candidates have to take jobs. Like this is this is musical chairs, and they have to sit down. Damn thing. They can just be like,
hey man, severe man. You just there just to be like, just to shut the door. Like, no.
This is all people to be like, oh yeah, they like, nah, bro. Just because just because it's a like I said, bro. Just because it's there, don't mean you gotta
what?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this? Hold up. Is it? Could this be? Heard some rumors that Brady has commitment from Arians for 3 years.
Commitment for what?
Okay, coach. Let's see. I want to see how old Bruce Arians, man, because he's been through some stuff
Bruce
too.
Arians is, first of all, he's old. He was already old. He's like 70. He's probably Pete Carroll's age or older, and he just had some health issues. He just had to retire from the NFL 2 years ago.
He's 72. He's 72. Damn,
so he's a little bit younger. Bro, and he already has health issues. He already had to retire.
I would go Pete Carroll over Bruce Arians.
I go Pete Carroll over Bruce Arians too. I'd probably go Pete Carroll over Mike Vrabel, to be honest with you.
It'd be funny if the two candidates were Pete Carroll and Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
And then Mark Davis at the presser is like, you know what? I went with the young coaches. I went with the inexperienced coaches. I went with the high profile OCs. Now I'm gonna go with the experience, the 70-year-old head coaches that been man, like Mark, man, he need. Whew.
Man, I like Bruce Arians as an offensive mind, but 2 things about Bruce Arians is that you about to turn the ball over a whole bunch, and he had the health scare. Like Bruce Arians was a dog, but Bruce Arians was a coordinator for so long. Like Bruce Arians was almost like Dick LeBeau, where he was just gonna be a coordinator forever, gonna be a good coordinator. If it wasn't for Chuck Pagano having that health scare, he probably would have never had a head coaching job. And then Chuck Pagano had the health scare, and then he took over the coach. I think he won Coach of the Year that year, or if he was runner up, I can't remember. And then he got his opportunity. But so but he's already old and had a health scare. I mean, he already literally left the NFL. He went 12-4 his final year, and was like, "You know what? I can't do this no more because of my health."
Right.
And dipped.
Right. Yeah, I just don't understand the thought process of hiring guys like Bruce Arians and Pete Carroll, like it's not the resume that I'm questioning. Oh my, if they were 50, 60, but 70, it's like,
yeah, if they're in their 60s.
Maybe if it was for one season, now if you now see that would make more sense. Like, oh, 1 season, 1 year deal for Pete Carroll or for Bruce Arians. But for a guy like AP, he needed more than 1 more year.
Well, but know what? Look. No, what would have made sense if these guys were so smart? What would have made sense is, know what? Let's bring in Pete Carroll. We have Antonio Pierce as the assistant head coach.
Right.
You spend a year learning under Pete Carroll, and then you elevate Pete Carroll to a front office position. Antonio Pierce takes head coaching job. Or if you want to do that with Bruce Arians, hey, Bruce Arians, hey, do us a favor. You come here, you coach for a year. Essentially, you're essentially just a mentor for Antonio Pierce. That's our head coach of the future. We feel this guy. If that was the 1 year deal, we're waiting for this ownership stuff to go through. Tom Brady can make a call to Bruce Arians to make that happen. If he's already got a 3-year commitment from a guy who just left the game because he thought he was going to die, what's 1 year? What's 1 year to train our guy? If that was their calculation, that would have been a smart move. Hey, you be the head coach, Antonio Pierce. We sign you to the same contract because I'm sure they signed him for pennies. But right. You're assistant head coach or associate head coach. You're learning at the hip of one of the better head coaches, a guy who just won a Super Bowl not too long ago. Hey, after his time is up, we're going to elevate him to a front office position. Maybe he's an area scout or yada yada. And in Antonio Pierce, you slide right into the head coaching role. That would have been smart, as opposed to we're going to trick Antonio Pierce into taking his contract and then fire him when we don't give him anything to succeed. Like, that's stupid.
Man, Raiders are going to Raider, man. But Xavier Foster, man, appreciate the super chat. He says 5 seasons, 5 head coaches, 2 interim. Mark Davis resigned. Just like that, man. He just, man. Yeah, man. Mark is definitely a big problem that everybody's really. I don't want to say that no one's really talking about. It's just like there's really no control. Like we're just at the end of the day, he owns the team, so we're just hoping that like he'll hire the right coach, he'll hire the right GM, or he'll have patience enough to let things see him through. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like he did with John Gruden. And the reason why he did with John Gruden, he was good friends with him. He believed in John Gruden. Hopefully, whoever he hires, because we all know at the end of the day, as much as Brady's in the building, helping him out to make decisions and all the committee, we know who has the final say. And it's gonna be Mark. He's not gonna let someone hire that goes. Maybe Tom Brady might have the final say, and he might be the guy that it sounds like it possibly could be, but we'll see, man. We will see. I gotta disagree with y'all. Raiders could easily be the 3rd best option this year with the Pats getting Vrabel.
No. Oh, if you already say the Pats are off the map, then yeah, of course. I mean, I already said we're 4th with the Pats on the map. So if you already removed the Pats,
we
it
just
automatically makes us 3rd.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went through the list. We went through the list and we included the Pats because they haven't hired a head coach yet. Yeah. So, but yeah, I agree. Vrabel seems like he's going to go to the Patriots. He's set up for an interview this Thursday, so that looks like it might be a done deal. Yeah, man, I'm staying away from Bruce Arians, man. Let's come on, man.
Yeah,
that's
tough.
I said
I would do it if since he already walked away from the game. Take him if you want to do a 1-year deal. If you want to help Tom Brady out, 1-year deal, train our guy. After that, you walk off into the sunset. I'm good with something like that, but I'm not. He's not a long-term answer. He's not. He's already said he doesn't want to coach long-term. That's why he left the great job he had in Tampa Bay. Like, so that's why I say, hey, you know what? If we was going to do what we did, bring him in for 1 year, let him train our guy, and do the same thing he's doing right now. Elevate him to a consultant. That's what he is in Tampa. And let him rock out like that.
Real quick, man. Hey, man, let's move it along, man. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Let's move along to notable quotables. And Severe, if you want to take the lead on the first quote for notable quotable.
So, as everybody know, if you haven't heard yet, the Raiders fired head coach Antonio Pierce. And they talked about it. They were talking about it today on ESPN. The main voices you're going to hear is Mina Kimes, everybody's favorite. No, she gets a lot of criticism. But you're also going to hear from former NFL player Andrew Hawkins, and they just talk about essentially a lot of what we've been talking about, how Antonio Pierce was set up for failure.
An offseason where there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks and not a lot of quarterbacks.
It's worth remembering they wanted Michael Penix Jr., right? And they weren't able to get him. Had they gotten him, think about how differently their season could have gone, especially considering how well he's looked in Atlanta.
I mean, I'm in the Mina camp as well. Like that's why it's surprising to me. Yes, there's a firing issue, but coming into the season, we were very aware of what the quarterback situation was, and it was looking like a team with a quarterback that was going to be 4 wins. Yeah, there's talent on the team, but you can't expect for an offense and a team to move when you, like you said, you have Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Like, yeah, they'll play good in moments, in spurts as backups, but nobody looked at them and said these are franchise guys. So after 1 year with that as a quarterback, I'm not surprised by the Raiders' result after year 1.
You see, now, at the end of the day, like ESPN and all these other big sports media companies, and they're not going to really when they look at the team, sometimes they talk about it on a surface level. But even on a surface level, we've been saying the same thing over and over again, man. Like, the Raiders were not set up to win this season. And then you combine that with the injuries they had on defense and, Devontae Adams getting traded. Like, literally the season was over. When Devontae Adams got traded, I was like, damn, like just the impact in that locker room, and it just for sure decreased the morale of that team. Like, man, like Devontae Adams, one of the best players at his position, he gets traded and after a win too, which was tough. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, I agree 100%, man. I just it's the AP situation was a setup job. That's all. Whether you agree with AP being the head coach or not, he was set up to fail. You can't tell me you can't. I know some people are like, well, you know what? Like he didn't show that he didn't make any improvements, game management, this, that, and the third. Like, but why? You should have never hired him in the first place. Should never hired him in the first place if you gave him a 1-year shot. Like, that don't make any sense. Why would you give him a 1-year shot if? What were you gonna see? And that goes back to the only thing that I could think of is like, all right, he was set up, and now that makes more sense to me. Like, oh, okay, it makes sense in that I agree. Not that I agree with it, but it makes sense in that, like, okay, they basically knew that this is not the guy, but they didn't want to look for a candidate to actually make an effort to find a head coach for this franchise last year. They decided to maybe wait 1 year and then fire. And that's why you got the players know it too. The players know it. That's why you hear comments from Max Crosby like, "Hey, look, at this point, like, that's not my job. That's not like that." I think he was on a podcast with, I forgot it was a recent podcast interview he had, and they were asking him about like, what would he think about the new head coach and what the moves that the Raiders are making, and he pretty much said, "Hey, man, that's outside of my pay grade. Like, that's not my job. I'm gonna be focusing on basically making plays on a football field, making my teammates better, yada yada yada." Which is interesting because last year he really vouched for AP, but now he's just kind of like, you know what, it is what it is. Raiders are gonna Raider at the end of the day.
Yeah. The writer was on the wall, I'm sure. Everybody kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah, no, facts. Ray says, "Yeah, I don't think we are this super unattractive spot. Just my opinion. We are downplaying new ownership opportunity." Look, I hope you're right, man.
But people think Tom Brady. What is Tom Brady going to do? What has he done? What has Tom Brady done in the league as an owner? That's my question. We keep putting all this stuff on Tom Brady. Okay, what is he going to do? Where Tom Brady he lost money doing crypto. He got scammed out of that. So what he's going to magically come here and make everything better? Bro, no. It's not a magic wand you just wave and say I'm Tom Brady. Bro, no. It doesn't work that way. Now,
Right.
will he have some pull in free agency? Maybe. But that don't mean a head coach will want to come here and work for you. You don't know what the hell you're doing. That doesn't mean these agents around the league want to come work for you. You don't know what the hell you're doing. They don't mean they want to come to the toughest division in football with no quarterback and no means of getting a quarterback. It don't work it doesn't work. This ain't Madden. It don't work. Oh, I got Tom Brady now. Everybody wants to come here. I see what you're saying. He has some pull. He has some gravitas. Would I rather have Tom Brady making decisions than Mark Davis? Yes, by leaps and bounds. But that don't mean he's going to be good at it either. That's the point. That doesn't mean he's going to be good at it either. We've never seen him do this before.
Also, Ray, too, right now, since we don't have a head coach, we don't have an offensive coordinator, we don't have a defensive coordinator, we don't have a quarterback, there's a lot of unknown. So it's hard for me to say that this is a really attractive spot for, a head coach to come and want to coach this team and build this team, especially after they fired a head coach after 1 year, which I'm sure they're not stupid. They're like, oh, damn, they really set up AP to fail. They're willing to fire a head coach after 1 year. They gave Josh McDaniels a 6-year deal and they fired him in his second year of his deal. Oh, they fired AP after his 1 year. Even though I agreed with the, McDaniels being let go, still, what was that? There was an article where they got all these agents and the Raiders was number 2 on the list of worst or most dysfunctional teams in the NFL. Behind the Panthers. And this is what agents are saying. Agents of NFL free agents, future NFL free agents, they're going to be like, hey, look, you know what? I know they're offering this much money, but this is what they come with. This is the possibility that if you go here, we're going to need more guarantees. It's going to be harder to negotiate with free agents, especially when you don't have things in place. So I'm just saying there's too much of an unknown. I appreciate the positivity, though. I appreciate it, though. Really, I really do.
Nah, for sure.
I really do.
Like I said,
yeah.
Tom Brady, would I trust Tom Brady more than Mark Davis? Yes, but people think just because he's Tom Brady and he won as a player that he's going to win or know how to win as an owner. That doesn't happen often. That doesn't happen often at all. A very rare and select few can do that. Could Tom Brady be one of those guys? Yes. But I just pointed to a situation where he entered into an arena that he had never really dealt with before, and then he failed miserably to the tune of losing $30 million. So he's never hired a head coach before. He's never drafted a player before. He's never, had to hire a GM before. He's never had to do any of this stuff before. Only thing he had to do was try to recruit free agents, which is something he'll be a part of now, and then go out there and play football. But he ain't playing now. You have no effect on the field anymore. So you can't make those guys that may not have been as good that you recruited, you can't make those guys better with your play because you're not playing.
Right. And you know what, too? Another thing, too, is that, it's tough for me to we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I don't know how it's going to work with him being an NFL commentator and also owning the Raiders and be a part of making big time decisions. I don't know. I just would like to think that someone would be all in, don't have anything going on except the Raiders. You know what I mean? And that makes me more comfortable and confident. Oh man, he's gonna do whatever it takes for the Raiders to win. But now that he's getting paid, being a commentator, but that takes a lot of time and effort. He's literally being. He's going to he's gonna be preparing for NFL games, playoff games. You know what I mean? So at the same time, he's also gonna be evaluating coaches because he's part of the committee, and I don't know we don't even know what that's going to look like. I do feel like he's going to have everybody can see that he's going to have a big say in some of these big moves, but like he's not even fully in the building. Like he's not even like, how much prepared is he going to be? I'm not, and you know, these are all questions that we don't have answers to. That's all I'm saying. It's a big question mark.
And everybody just criticized this thing with AP hiring a rookie head coach. Now, essentially, you have a rookie a president of football operations, right? We just like, so he's going to have his growing pains as well. This is something he's never done. Is he one of the greatest players of all time? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is he one of the greatest winners of all time? Yes. So was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest winners of all time too. How was he as an executive?
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. You know? So it's like what's my man is with the Clippers? Elgin Baylor, one of the greatest players of all time. How was he with the Clippers? Terrible. Like, just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're going to be a great executive or a great decision maker off the court.
Mm-hmm.
That's a totally different skill set that takes more of a business mind. So that's why when I look at somebody, when you had to choose something to invest in, and you chose to invest with Sam Bankman-Fried, and you got taken for a ride, that lets me know, hey, maybe I should question your judgment when it comes to these type of things. Maybe I should question your judgment when you about who you choose to trust, right? It's not about throwing a football or recruiting some free agents to your team. It's about who do you trust making decisions. You trusted Sam Bankman-Fried and got taken for a ride. So now I have to question, what's your judge of character?
Hey, Austin says you'll finally get your boy Severe with Jameis. Jameis for sure coming to play under Bruce Arians.
Man, I hope he don't start, bro. I hope he does not start. I love Jameis as a character. I think he's one of the greatest teammates in the NFL, but he is not starting material, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, look, the other side to it is, could it be a Jerry West situation? I hope. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's an all-time great player in the NBA who was an all-time great executive. There's a possibility there. There's just a lot of unknown with Tom Brady. My thing, the first question mark I have is how committed he is. Like, how much time is he going to be giving the Raiders in order to be successful? Meaning that, like, he's literally going to be fully committed to commentating and be preparing for these NFL games, and he's going to be in the playoffs. And right now the Raiders are going to be in the midst of a search for a head coach, and he's going to be part of that committee. You know, but you know, I don't know how it might just be a situation where Mark is like, hey, so what you think? Okay, all right, thanks. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing. Like, bro, you said it already. You either all in or you're all out. Howie Roseman, one of the best GMs in like, if you wanted to go this route, throw a bunch of money at Howie Roseman. This guy is proven. Let him do it. Somebody that has experience, who has built winning teams, who's universally considered one of the best GMs in the league. Throw money at him. Why are we putting our trust in Tom Brady, who's never done this before?
So people are more Bruce Arians than Pete Carroll. 269 on 78 and 2. Oh, okay. Well,
now,
Bruce
Arians is a dog, man. Look. I'll take Bruce Arians and Pete Carroll over Mike Vrabel.
Oh, I was just thinking about it. Like he revitalized Palmer. Remember when Palmer went over there from the Raiders to the Cardinals? Bruce Arians was the head coach for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So, you know, he did pretty.
He bought up.
He did pretty well over there.
I think he took him to the Super Bowl, right? He took him to the Super Bowl. That's when they lost to the Steelers, I think.
He did. But Pete Carroll did take them Seahawks. They were like juggernauts for a few years.
They were
went to like
on defense. Yeah, on defense. They had Russell Wilson and Marshawn.
On defense, but like they built that team. he was part of building that team. They getting Marshawn. Obviously, that defense speaks for itself. But and then eventually got Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson kind of went with all that, and they eventually were able to go to a couple of Super Bowls. They should have won 2.
Should have won 2.
They should have won 2.
Partly through who?
Hey man, you know what? I might give the edge for Bruce Arians just because it should have been 2. It should have been 2 because he should have gave the ball to Marshawn. That was a terrible decision. I don't know what he was thinking. Coach says Ben Johnson or bust. I mean, Ben Johnson ain't coming to the Raiders. He ain't coming to the Raiders unless unless they fire Telesco or they tell basically Telesco that you're gonna be answering to Ben Johnson when it comes to personnel decisions. Then he might think about it, but even then, it's that'd be a tough situation for him to go to and not have his guy, because everybody's gonna be looking at, everybody's gonna be judging. Look how everybody judges people. They don't look at context. Context matters, and these guys know that. So that's why they go to situations where there's things in place for them to be successful, because they know that they're not gonna be given. No one's gonna give them excuses.
Yeah, that's facts.
Rambo says fire AP. Oh, that's so 2024. Oh man, he's rubbing it in for sure.
Yeah.
Francis says I actually was okay with AP coming back. I know, because it was it's not like the Raiders are not going to be good next year. I don't.
If we don't have a QB or not.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting I was looking at it as kind of like a rebuilding year, and it just hopefully they get healthier. There might have been a chance, but even with a young QB, it's still going to be tough. Look at the Patriots. They like their Drake May looks pretty good. He looks better than Bo Nix. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In my opinion,
has a higher ceiling. Yeah. Higher ceiling. Definitely higher ceiling.
He's inconsistent up and down. Bo Nix is more consistent, and he's in a system that fits his skill set.
Bo Nix on a better team.
Well too.
He's on a better team.
Yeah, and a better team. I mean, it's like I think somebody had sent it to me. I meant to send it to you. They look like the offensive numbers with Bo Nix. And offensive numbers they had last year with Russell Wilson, and they were basically identical. It's just the defensive numbers were much better. But Bo Nix, for a rookie, man, he played well, and that's what you kind of want. That's part of the reason why you draft Bo Nix. He's already mature. He's been in college 6 years, and he got drafted to a system that fits his skill set with the coach that's going to build a system around him. So I think he's in a good spot. And I just feel sorry for Drake May, because he's going to have to be learning an entire new offensive system, his second year. So we know, and that can be tough. That can be tough on a rookie quarterback. Same thing with Caleb. He's going to be learning an entirely new system his second year. You go through those growing pains, through those struggles, learning
Hey, Ray, I gotta disagree with you on this, man.
What happened?
We gonna have to get you on the show, man. He says he wasn't set up. He signed a 2-year deal. AP bolstered his coaching stock and will get an NFL job. This wasn't his swan song for AP. He wasn't set up. He agreed to an obvious situation. No, I agree that AP signed a contract. He signed on a dotted line. Also, I think AP, this is not the end for AP. You know what I mean? He's young enough. He'll bounce back. He'll get on coaching staff. He'll be able to, get future opportunities for sure. I'm not disagreeing with you on there, but you can't tell me that the way the Raiders were constructed going into the 2024 season, that was a good NFL team, talent-wise. Did you expect them to win? We tried to envision it. We tried to you know what? Maybe if we had a top 3 defense and we had one of the best run games in the NFL, maybe we could win with our current quarterback room. We had to have everything be elite, and it wasn't. Look, due to a lot of different reasons, you could point the defense taking a step back, not being as good as we thought it was going to be, injuries on defense, run game was terrible, offensive line was terrible to start the season, and they took a while for them to gel. Colton Miller had to get back to health. He wasn't 100%. man, Zamir White, like
terrible. And but why didn't we see Dylan Lobby? Why didn't we see Tommy Eichenberg? Like I said, I mean, like I said, it was a lot of stuff I didn't like. It was a lot of stuff I didn't like with this team. We heard all camp. All we heard about was how well Tommy Eichenberg and Dylan Lobby were playing. We didn't hear nothing about them during the season. So I don't. Man, it seemed like 2 wasted draft picks right there.
Man, hey man. Hey, we appreciate everybody pulling up. Make sure to click and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But hey, let's move it along, man. We got a second notable quotable real quick that we want to have the people listen to, man. Go ahead, Severe, if you can go ahead and lead the way with this one.
Yeah, so Jonathan Jones was on CBS, and he was, he talked a lot about the whole situation with Antonio Pierce and him being fired and things that kind of led up to the firing. Then he was asked to speak on what would Tom Brady's influence be on future decisions, and this is his answer to that question.
All right, here we go. Hold on one second.
Absolutely huge say, Katie, because let's consider this. Mark Davis has been very forthcoming in previous years about how when you look at his ledger in terms of wins and losses, there's no debating it. He hasn't been a good owner. If that is what you are determined on, he hasn't been a good owner. If you are determined on who you hire, and more importantly, who you fire, he hasn't been a good owner. And so he does have the wherewithal, Mark Davis does, to say, maybe I'm not any good at this decision-making process. I can be good at some other things. But ultimately, who leads this group from a head coach perspective, maybe I'm not the best at picking it. Maybe the greatest quarterback and player of all time who now owns a portion of the team who I brought on for his football acumen, maybe he's better at this than I am. Maybe I should lean on him for his advice and counsel. That is what Mark Davis, I think, is going to do. I think that, all these owners have an ego, right? They all believe that they are the best at this football thing because they were really good at business or because they inherited a lot of money and inherited this team. But so often they aren't very good at the football stuff. The great ones are really good at letting good football people be football people. And so maybe, just maybe, you have Tom Brady making these decisions.
Man. That last part right there, man. Yeah. I gotta.
And so maybe, just maybe, you have Tom Brady making these decisions. But so often they aren't very good at the football stuff. The great ones are really good at letting good football people be football people. And so maybe, just maybe, you have Tom Brady making these decisions.
Hey, man, maybe Tom Brady might be the answer. But Ray wanted to clarify one thing. He said that he wasn't talking about Tom Brady. He was talking about Silver Lake CEO Egon Durbin and Michael Meldon, owners of the Raiders. Yeah. Commanders did the same thing. You talked about this and how you like this.
I talked about them already. I talked about them at length. I said it was a genius move. One of those guys, he develops luxury properties. I think he does a lot of golf courses and stuff like that. The other guy actually has a relationship with the parent company to the agency that represents a lot of players in the NFL. So I thought that was a genius move. Mark Davis including them or bringing them into ownership. Not only does it make him liquid, so that allows him to splurge and spend a lot of money, whether that be in free agency or on a head coach, but it also brings in some very influential people. And both of those guys own more of the team than Tom Brady does. Tom Brady owns like 5%. Each of those guys owns I think a full 10% each. So I mean, yeah, I think it was smart. I think it was smart for him to do that.
Yeah, that right there, I agree with you, Ray. Like that's a chess move. See, we were talking, we're mad about the Raiders making checker moves, but that's a chess move right there. And we'll see, man. There's a lot of unknowns. Obviously, we're reacting to the news of AP getting fired, and we're kind of frustrated because there's a little bit there's a lot of inconsistency with the Raiders, man. Like things are going to change. And it just feels like it's going to be a rebuild. And we don't have a lot of things in place like quarterback. We don't know who the head coach is going to be. Hopefully, it's going to be a really good candidate. Hey, if it's a good head coach, we got good pieces in place, good foundation set. Then hey, maybe we're headed in the right direction. But right now, man, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, man. Just going back to the clip, man. 100% agree. And that applied to obviously Mark Davis. He and that was the point that he was trying to make. The great ones hire people that make football decisions. They rely on those guys, and that's the truth. Not every owner, all these great franchises, they're not Al Davis's. Al Davis is a one of one, where he's been a head coach and GM, like where he's so, he's as knowledgeable as he was back in the day. That was probably a big advantage or competitive advantage back in the day. But now, like, you don't have to be that knowledgeable. You have to be competitive. You could just hire the right people and then obviously let them do their job. And I think that if that's what Mark is trying to do, then hopefully it works with Tom Brady. But it's just an interesting situation. Just thinking about it, like I said, he's an NFL commentator for half the year. And then now you're expecting him to make the big time decisions that you would think that would take more than a couple of days to think about. Like you would want him to do his due diligence. And I'm not saying that he's not going to do that, but it's just an interest. Like, it's just, man, like he's going to be preparing for NFL games. And then also keeping tabs on the Raiders search. Like he's not going to be an analyst breaking down the Raiders coaching search. He's going to be in that building. He's going to be talking to high officials on the Raiders side. Obviously going to be talking to Mark Davis. He's one of the owners on the team. It's going to be an interesting situation as far as how that Brady situation is going to work out. But yeah, Ray, great point. And Severe, I think you brought it up too, is one of a big time move by Mark. So that, hey, look, man, we're a little negative today. I understand, but we're being honest. We're going to be honest.
Being real.
Yep. Austin says Magic Johnson's ownership group literally did the same thing last year with the Commanders. We can get a QB still if we want, because Browns probably want to trade down. See, I don't even want to trade up for a QB. Do you really want to trade up in this draft? Like, what will that look like? Are we trading up like to get to wherever and are we trading like 3 first-round picks for Shedeur Sanders? It's not like this is the greatest. You know what I mean? This is not the greatest draft for that. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's the best draft to be trading up for a QB. Maybe if it was like a CJ Stroud or Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, who actually looks pretty good, by the way.
Oh, well, is that a surprise?
Man,
we said he would, right? We said he would look good.
Yeah.
At this point, man, I'm not trading up for either one of these guys. If one of them falls to us, I'll be cool with taking one of those guys. But so now the guy, my sleeper guy is Jackson Dart. I've been saying it for months. He's a guy I think he has a lot of physical tools. I think you get him with the right coordinator and the right QB coach and the right offense in the NFL. I think he can do some things. But I'm not trading up for either one of these guys, man. Let them fall, and if not, just take best player available. Tedero McMillan, Will Johnson. I'd be happy with Mason Graham. He's a monster in the interior, especially if you don't bring a guy back like Adam Butler. You put Mason Graham next to Christian Wilkins, you have probably one of the better interiors in all of football. So do the time to let's go special, man. We got lucky last year. 6 quarterbacks got taken in front of us. We got Brock. We got lucky this year somewhat. We won those games, but we still ended up in the 6th pick. So, it's BPA.
Austin says magically stole our OC. Man, I don't believe. I mean, maybe he had a hand in probably sealing the deal for him to clip. But I think what we heard was that it was more of a contractual issue, right? And now it makes sense. It was actually a great move by Cliff Kingsbury, because he would have been on the losing end. He would have been fired with AP and the rest of the coaching staff. So, so you can understand why he had second thoughts, because I think he wanted to get a 3rd-year deal. I think that was one of the holdups, was that he wanted a 3rd year. The Raiders were only willing to give 2, which kind of gave us a glimpse of what AP probably got, a 2-year deal. We didn't know the details until that situation, because why would they be deal than that? So I think that was more of the issue, and I think as time went on, probably the Commanders came in, checked in, and the rest is history. I think that's the situation. I think it started off as a contract. I think they talked about this during the season. They said it was a contract issue, and then Commanders came in and swooped in. So yeah, I mean, Magic probably called. He probably called. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, that's what they said. I mean, they said Magic, and that's one thing where I think having Tom Brady, I think that's where he's a big benefit, where he's a guy that can be a closer. He has gravitas, he has an aura, he has all that stuff. Same thing like Magic has, right? Now I'm not in no way comparing Tom Brady to Magic Johnson, because look at Magic Johnson's track record, it speaks for itself. Magic Johnson's part owner of the Lakers, wins championships. Part owner of the Sparks, wins championships. Part owner of the Dodgers, wins championships. Part owner of whatever MLS Cup team he had. I think they won one championship, right? So he's won championships in 5 different leagues. I think he's won like seven championships as an owner. So they're completely different levels. He's done it in multiple sports. His formula is sound and proven. Tom Brady's, so far, it's unknown. And he learned, and Magic Johnson sat at the hip and learned from one of the greatest owners of all time. Some people consider the greatest owner of all time in Jerry Buss. Like, it's, so that's why people want to make the Magic Johnson comparison with Tom Brady. I pump the brakes with that.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see. It's a question mark. It's a question mark right now, and we're just like, all right, well, what is it going to look like? But we'll see and find out. Ray, man, I like the positivity, man. We got to have you on here soon. He says this is the start of Mark moving on from football decisions and leaning into ownership partners. Hey, man, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I think that would be. Yeah, man. We'll give you a round of applause real quick. Hey, if Mark is doing that, then that's
absolutely huge say, Katie, because
my bad. That's the right move.
Absolutely huge. That was absolutely huge. That Mark's doing that is absolutely.
But yeah, could be like John Lynch too. We don't know. Yeah. That's all. Like, there's a lot of what ifs. We're just talking about. For me, it's a lot of it is my where I'm coming from, and my frustrations with the team is what we've been seeing year in, year out. The product we've seen on the football field. It's just the way they handled the AP firing. To me, I thought it was just like kind of like they could have just, if they were going to fire him, why didn't they just fire him after the game? Like, why didn't they just fire him? Why didn't they announce the fireman over the weekend and just be done with it and just it just moves swiftly? Why are we speculating and like especially in a time where we need to look for the head coach, we need to get these interviews set up. But you know what? Maybe there's a plan in place. Maybe they have their guy in mind. Maybe they know that they're just gonna go through the formalities of interviewing some of these coaches, knowing who they're gonna get. But maybe that might be the case. We'll see. We'll find out. It's the next week or so. We'll find out who the Raiders are going to be connected to, who they're going to be hiring, possibly. But man, the chat is wild today, man. Let's see. As a Chargers fan, what if Tom Brady steps in to be into the head coaching spot?
Disaster.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Disaster.
Tom isn't the only owner we have to look deeper into people brought on. Silver Lamb, do we know if they are in on the hiring like the Commanders? We don't know. We know there's a hiring committee, and last year the hiring committees consist of I believe I think Ken Henrock was in the hiring committee.
Ken Henrock,
last year.
Ken Henrock,
and then the other
Seymour.
part, Richard Seymour was on there.
I think Champ Kelly was part of it as well. But
Bill Romanowski and Charles Wilson.
I was like, "What's Bill Romanowski?"
I'm just joking. I mean, the whole 2002 squad that went to the Super Bowl. No, I'm playing.
But now I will say that, and just to Ray's comment, like I wouldn't want those guys part of it. I don't think those guys aren't football guys. If you're gonna, I think they were brought in for their other skills or other relationships. So they shouldn't have any input into it. The only minority owner that should be involved at all is Tom Brady, and I think you kind of want to keep it there because, as he was saying, like when these people start to get like too big for their britches and thinking they know the game, like Tom Brady is the only person there that actually knows the game. So if anybody's gonna do it, it should be him.
Tom got to make up that crypto money. No one talks about the KC Brain Trust because of Mahomes. Hey man, maybe that's why he signed that big time contract with Fox. So he's getting money from the Raiders and obviously from Fox being a commentator, kind of a color analyst. But let's see, man. I'm trying to catch up with the chat real quick. Oh man, I know people are not big on Carroll. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But let's move it along, man, to what's real, what's not. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. We appreciate the support. The chat is going crazy. Well, man, I'm trying to keep up, man. It's going. Y'all having conversations within conversations. I see the comments here. But let's move into what's real, what's not, and this is where I say a statement and you guys react to it as if it's real or it's not. So the first statement is, with an experienced GM, Tom Brady in a leadership position, a top 10 draft pick, and loads of cap space, the Raiders are an attractive job for an NFL head coach. Is that real or is it not? I think, and we kind of got into this, but is an attractive job. So that's a different way to word the statement. Is the Raiders' job an attractive job? Having a top 10 pick, over $100 million plus in cap space. Is that an attractive job for a head coach? Let us know if it's real or it's not.
What they saying with the chat. So I'm gonna say not real. Based on a lot of factors. No QB, no number one running back, no true number one receiver. You got a hell of a tight end, you got a great number two receiver. You got holes all over your defense. A bunch of impending free agents at key positions. A potentially disgruntled star player in Max Crosby. You're in one of the toughest divisions in the division with the best quarterback in all of football, as you alluded to earlier, probably the best coach in all of football. Justin Herbert on the ascension, Jim Harbaugh, and I was about to say San Diego and Los Angeles, and it looks like Sean Payton and Bo Nix have some chemistry there as well. So, just for those reasons alone, I had to say not real. If we were in another division, I would go real, even with all those roster holes. But just being in this division right now, with all those guys still fairly young, Patrick Mahomes still fairly young, Herbert still really young, Bo Nix really young, like it's not real right now.
Hey man, so there's a lot of people who feel like it's real. They feel like it's an attractive job. It's tough because, like someone said in the chat, man, like there's no quarterback. Steve, you mentioned a great point. You said we don't even have a run game. We don't know what does our running back look like room. And if we're gonna get a quarterback to come here or even draft a young QB. you would like for him to come to a team where the offensive line is settled, or at least have a run game to protect a young QB. But that we don't even have that in place. But that being said, isn't it an attractive job? Oh man. So out of the teams that we looked at, as far as there were 3 teams ahead of us: the Patriots, Jaguars, and who was the third team with the quarterback?
Patriots, Jaguars, Bears,
and the Bears. After that, I think we come in 4th.
Yeah. And
then after that, it's like what, the Saints?
The Jets, then the Saints. Saints is dead last by a mile.
Shit, the Raiders are like right there in the middle.
Kind of in the middle, yeah.
And we're being biased. We're being a little bit biased too, because the Jets have kind of like similar.
Yeah, exactly. They have similar situation to us, and they're about to have a hope. Well, if they're able to get off of Aaron Rodgers, they'll have a whole bunch of money. And they have Quentin Williams. They got Sauce Gardner. They got Breece Hall. They got what's the other young receiver out of
Garrett Wilson.
Ohio State, Garrett Wilson. So they're essentially the same. Essentially the same. And they got ownership that a lot of people don't have confidence in with Woody Johnson. So what I give us the edge over New York for is weather and state income tax. So that's why I put us over that. If you consider just stuff on the football field, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, man, it's tough, man, for me to call it an attract. If they don't have a quarterback, then I can't even say that's like an attractive spot. Like, because if you were a coach, when you want to go to a team that had a quarterback in place, like you would want to know, like, all right, this is my quarterback. Even if you wanted to upgrade from it, like you at least know you have something there. Right now, we don't have. I mean, Minshew is he going to be cut? I think Minshew's probably going to get cut, most likely.
Possibly.
I mean, you would think
possibly
he would get cut. I mean, AOC, I think he's going to be on the roster. I think he'll be a backup, but starter, that's tough.
Yeah, no,
that's tough, man. But let's move it along real quick, man. We got one more. What's real? What's not? And here goes the second statement here. Antonio Pierce was hired on January 19th of 2024. The Raiders will hire his replacement before that date. Is that real or is it not? So I'm going to repeat the statement. Is Antonio Pierce was hired on January 19th of 2024. The Raiders will hire his replacement before that date. That's actually a good question. That's like 10 days away or something like that? Or
12.
12
well,
days.
Yeah, if
12 days,
before it'll be 11. So we want to make it before we got 11 days, so a week and a half.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm gonna say yes. I think the stuff is gonna start moving pretty fast. And once the first domino drops, which I think we're kind of all speculating that's a variable to the Patriots. If that happens on Thursday, I think the other dominoes will start to fall shortly after that, and people will slide in. Some people have preferences on where they want to go. I think we all kind of think the Patriots are the best job. So if that job is off the market, then other people will kind of go to their secondary and their tertiary selection. So once the Patriot job goes, I think things will start to move pretty quickly there, and that Patriot jobs could happen as early as this Thursday.
They better, because Raider Nation going crazy. I went crazy a little bit earlier, man, but I'm a little calm now. But it's just, man, this team, man, it's just it is what it is. But look, people were saying Ben Johnson's going to be the next Bears coach. Man. That's actually, that's actually a good spot. Would you say Ben Johnson? That would be a solid spot. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
because he has his quarterback
and weapons, and they have defense, and they have stuff on defense. They got a really good corner in Jalen Johnson. They got Montez Sweat as a pass rusher. You got Tremaine Edmonds at linebacker. So they got some stuff to play with.
If you think about it, hey, if you think about it, would that be the number one spot? The Bears?
I'll go with the Patriots just because the Bears have been firing coaches left and right too. So the Patriots had one coach for a long time and then they fired one coach early. But other than that, they have a pristine track record.
As far as stability, but as far as like pieces though, they do got some pieces though.
They got hella pieces. Yeah. I said the Bears would be number 2. I mean, and if you go off this year, I think most people would say Drake May played better than Caleb. Caleb might have had better numbers, but just from the eye test, Drake May look like the better player. And you can't and Caleb could have a bounce back year. We see what Bryce Young is doing this year. But just off eyeball test, a lot of people like what Drake May was doing.
Yeah, I think it's like some type of rule too, as well, like how long they can interview too. I feel like they came up with some type of rule this year. But Ben Johnson can't interview until after the divisional round. I think so.
Yeah.
But I think it's a certain amount of time too. Like they can't even interview them the way they want to. As far as like the amount of time, I think they regulate that as well.
There's a certain amount of time. There is a window where you can do in-person. There's a window where you can do virtual interviews, and there's also a window where you can do in-person interviews as well. I forgot exactly what the rules were, but they put all these limitations on it to not distract these coaches who are in the playoffs.
Grab a solid coach and got to hit on these draft picks. All facts, 100%.
Right.
Laker 24, man. Kobe, man, for sure. Yeah, hey. Grab a solid coach and got to hit on these draft picks, man. It's easier said than done, but yeah, hopefully they're able to find their new head coach now, build their staff. I just want to get usually the off season is where we have the most. This is crazy. This happens. It's rinse and repeat every year. The off season is where we get excited about the team, and then the truth sets in during the season. But we'll see how it shakes out, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. It's been a great show. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Man, it's been a dope show, man. Severe. Let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man, you guys know what it is. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, the Severe Raider on IG, on X, on Snapchat, on TikTok, all that good stuff. Every Tuesday, here on the 50-50 show, my guy PharoahNFL. Also, do a Tuesday show on my guys Chris from PTS and 85. And then around the shield, we come at you guys every Friday night. My guy Pharaoh and Big Mike, so make sure y'all check us out. If you haven't already, make sure y'all clock in / clock out. And if you have sub to either me or Pharaoh, make sure you do that. And man, I know Pharaoh put it in the chat earlier, but the 50-50 shot, man, what are y'all doing? Get y'all some 50-50 merch, man. Support the team, support the movement. It's 2025. 2025. Let's start it off right.
There you go. Yeah, man. Link is in the chat as well as the description. Appreciate everybody coming through. We're here every Tuesday's 50-50 show, like Severe said. And then later this week, we're going to have the Round the Shield. I think this might be the last episode. Little last episode before the hiatus, because I know before free agency, I think there's gonna be it's a little break. But yeah, make sure to tune in. We're gonna be looking at the season as a whole. Just kind of giving some of the players their props, the MVPs, the rookie of the year. We all know the answer to that, I think. But just we're gonna look at easy answer, man. Brock Bowers did his thing this year, but yeah, we're gonna look at the team as a whole, and then we're also gonna
defense
and hopefully we can actually have some we're probably we might be talking about some news later this week as far as who the Raiders are going to be connected to or maybe hire as far as head coach. And then we'll look into that, and we'll look at the different candidates, and we'll get into a little deeper. Today was more of a reaction show as far as, the latest with the AP firing and, things like that. But yeah, man, make sure to tune in. Hit that notification bell so be notified for new content. Hopefully, just be on the lookout. But also make sure to give us a follow on Around the Shield on X and on IG for, podcast clips, memes, all that good stuff. But we appreciate everybody pulling up, man. It's been a great show. Hopefully the Raiders are playing chess, not checkers, man. Hopefully the Raiders are playing chess, not checkers. Hopefully they have a plan in place. The head coaching candidate is going to be someone that we like. We can be all on board with, and everything will take care of itself, man. But hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming to. Any last thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, man. Basically, we put in a lot of trust in Tom Telesco, Mark Davis, and Tom Brady to get this thing right. So I hope they got it right. I appreciate everybody sticking with us. It's getting late, but until next time, 7-3-8. You know what it is.
Hey, man, I didn't even check them. I gotta check that, man. But hey, look, just tune in around this shit, man. We'll see y'all, man. Peace.
You ain't gotta check it, bro. You ain't gotta check it.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.